Action. Welcome to the 12th episode of YESPIXEL with one of the hosts, 52 Chains, Hydra, and Troms. Today's special guest is a man who goes by the name of Kinkyhobo. And our sponsor today is FOMO. FOMO is something a lot of people feel when they miss out. And a lot of people went to TwitchCon, but us four rejects, we're just here, I guess. We're not as sandy. So yes, FOMO, donate. I don't know, smiles to the guys who missed out.
Thank you,
All right,
FOMO, for
now
donating smiles. We really needed those. Appreciate you.
We need that. Yeah, that's huge. Why? Okay, real quick. Why didn't everybody go to TwitchCon? Why did you not go?
I just didn't want to miss the show. It's just so important. I just thought, I'm so dedicated to the Yes Pixel podcast. I just didn't want to. I just couldn't leave it behind.
same.
I was gonna go. There was like a huge part of me that wanted to go just to get some fucking time away. But holy shit, it half of TwitchCon I guess is like seeing a lot of people, but it was also like what is it like meeting other people for work purposes. There's like so little that I personally do with Twitch nowadays that I didn't feel like, was it networking? I didn't see like the point in doing that, I guess.
Yeah, I get it.
What about all the people that are now going to be having sex with their coworkers? Isn't that a thing? Isn't that a big reason people go to TwitchCon?
I said it's like top 3 reasons go to TwitchCon.
It's a thing. People go to TwitchCon and they hook up with other streamers and then they never talk about it again. This is a thing. Don't act like this is not a thing.
It only becomes a thing when it's like worth the drama bait in like half a year.
Yeah, you only hear about it whenever somebody gets mad about it.
Yeah, I would honestly have gone just to hook up with all the guys that Moosebeard flirts with. So I can't say I'm exactly into that, but you know what? I gotta keep the character running.
Just gotta keep the story going.
I gotta keep it going.
Below the line of icy.
Walker, how's it going?
Kinky, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming.
You did it.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
You're on the show, man. How does it feel?
How does it feel to be on
this is the big league.
How does it feel to be on the #1 Nopixel podcast?
I'll finally start streaming again.
#1 currently active Nopixel podcast.
There it is. Do we have 1% of the views of the most viewed Nopixel podcast? Yes, but are we the only active one?
Yeah, we got it. We got it. We're killing it.
Yeah.
Kinky, I love you, man. I want to know more about you. So you're going to tell me. That's right. It's that time of the show. Kinkyhobo.
To the show.
We want to know about you. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe like how you got started with role play. How you kind of got into this community.
Holy shit. Okay, roleplay is a fucking huge one. I have been on Nopixel since 2016.
Okay.
2016, I think. I was there all the way back when it first blew up, like on Armor. And I don't know what like brought me towards it, because there wasn't anyone on like Twitch or anything that I watched that I was like, okay, this is interesting. This is why I want to go into it. I just was playing Armor a lot at the time. I was like, okay, well, this is cool. I did a lot of like I guess like Milsim RP where you like, I'm a pretend little army man for a bit. And then I thought, okay, well, I'll try my hand at Armor, Nopixel. And holy shit, I'd say some of like you think that like Nopixel is wild and like full of fucking like crazy shit now, but back then that was some of like the best times. Like that was back when Leonova now was like a fucking high ranking member of like PD then as like fucking Ralph Wiggum and shit like that. Like those were the good times. I spent like maybe like 1 or 2 years doing that, and I just took like a huge hiatus from RP. And then when everything started like coming back, I got that, I guess, like second wind to want to try it again. And holy fuck, I think I enjoyed my time coming back to Nopixel and finding my place, but fuck, I've never been more burnt out doing that guild shit for a
Dude.
fucking dude.
So tell people about Gil. Tell people about the character, because some people might not know at this point, especially 3.0 people.
Well, yeah, I guess like it's been so long and I haven't even touched the character in fucking ages. But back when I first started Gil, his entire intent was to like go down the law route because I knew that there was like no lawyers on the server and all of that. But I always really wanted him to be like just an absolute like deadbeat loser character who was just like constantly like belittled and made fun of. And I kind of managed to get that some way with like the DOJ like interaction of just like hating him.
Mm-hmm.
But I ended up like running with the only active lawyers at the time who were all of like the really successful the like vocal ones like Splainer and Murphy and shit like that. So then I got fucking pushed in this direction of having to be like the only lawyer for all of like Clean Boys, all of like Pegasus at the time.
Don't you hate it when you're
And
trying to roleplay a dump and everybody makes you into the greatest lawyer in the server?
I hated it, man. I was like, it was me and Reggie Might at the time. We were just like juggling like EUNA, AU, like just swapping half shifts. And I wanted to be such a loser. I like it got to the point where like the DOJ had to tell me to reel back my character because I got done for prostitution 3 times while I had a bar card, and they were like, if you keep getting prostitution charges, we're gonna remove your bar card from you. Fucking it's nice to have that it's nice to have like the success and support from having that character, and I think like being able to run with like Mike Block and all that for majority of my time playing it was great.
Yeah, the block lawyer. Yeah, that was good. That was right around when I started popping off with Stanky Leg. I met Gil and with the whole ear getting cut off situation by Zerka.
Holy shit! Yeah, I remember
Dude,
that.
I think I had like 600 viewers when that whole scene was happening. That was pretty sick.
Your like times on Stanky Leg back then was so good, and you'd like I feel like every week you'd come to me with like I've got this new idea, and it would be like some crazy plan for like half an hour, and then just due to the like how the fucking city mechanics go, half the time it wouldn't move. But it was just like really interesting to fucking hear how your mind was
like,
working with it.
Yeah, I would just like take people to like I'm like, all right, today we're gonna be making a hyper accelerant so that we can make cars go super fast for a couple of minutes, but it might burn out the engine. And I would just pretend I would like convince people that I could make server mechanics. They'd be like, they'd be like, is that actually gonna work? And I'd be like, yeah. They're like, no, like, can you make it work like in this city mechanically? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm a genius.
What do you mean?
I went to MIT.
Yes.
I literally dropped out of MIT my last week. I already got my acceptance papers.
You know, now that I think about it, that's like the best way to make in-game money in Nopixel, to pretend you know how to work server mechanics.
And just scam people.
And,
Honestly,
that's what I did pretty much.
wait, what did you do that with?
Like this was like 2-3 weeks into Nopixel. Everyone knew there was gonna be a casino. I was playing Carmine, and I'd go around selling these entrance passes for the opening party. And I think I made 60K or some shit.
That's so funny.
Selling this shit, and we did get in trouble. I got in trouble for it, even though I was being a scam artist. But there's this other crew doing it too, the Yakuzas. But they actually tried to roleplay their way into owning the casino. But then Coil came and DW, and they said, "Fuck no, this is our thing."
Oh, that's right. That's when the guy got banned, right? There was a guy that because he was like trying to roleplay that he was the owner of the casino, and then he was like shit talking DW and Coil, and then like he roleplayed like killing himself on top of the casino or something, and they're like, "Let's get this guy the fuck out of here." I might be misremembering it a little bit, but it was a big, it was a whole drama. Oh, yeah, I remember, and he said, like, Coil emails. He's like, do you know who I am? I have so much money. Like, I can do this. He was, like, sending Coil emails as the character, but in real life. It was super weird.
Yeah, I remember that. It, like, really got muddied between, like, the blur of what was real and what was fake.
I think Coil finally banned him because he was worried that he was going to, like, jump off a bridge or something and blame
Oh my
Nopixel.
god.
Oh,
But
fuck.
yeah, there's a lot of money in that shit. Just fake it till you make it, I guess.
Kinky, I think out of everybody we've had so far, you may be one of, as far as I can remember, one of the only people who was around during the Arma days. And so I actually have a couple questions about that. First of all, since this is something that we typically ask everyone who comes on the show, did you have to apply for like Nopixel GTA, or were you like grandfathered in from the Arma days?
I was God, I have to remember this now. I took a hiatus, and I think I basically, when it first started for GTA, they basically said like you have to reapply for whitelist, but it was like if you were previously whitelisted, you kind of, they just did a review of your account. You didn't actually have to go through the full process again, and then
Right.
you would just get like approved from there. And then when it was like 1.0 or whatever they called it, when they moved to GTA, I I didn't play for all of like 1 or 2, anything like that. And then 3.0 came around. I was like, okay, I'll give it a go. And then I still had whitelist, so I guess I was kind of like grandfathered in, but I forgot about it.
So you didn't actually have to
Yeah.
apply? You just could just join?
Yeah, it's just straight join. Like,
So
yeah.
somebody finally beat me and Troms into only having to apply once. This man had to apply 0th.
Well,
0 times.
I guess like the application process is the same as it was for Armor as it is now. So like back when it was like Armor days, I still had to do the same questions and shit.
All right.
But it was
did you get it on your first try in the Arma days? Were they like strict?
Yeah, they were strict, but I got in first time, I think.
Hey. Looks like you're the odd man out again there, partner. Actually, I'm the odd man out now. Aren't I the only non-Twitch partner in this podcast right now?
No, I'm not a partner.
Are you not? I thought you were.
No, I don't stream enough.
That's fair. 52 Chains didn't either until 3 weeks ago when Troms and I forced him to start role-playing Carmine consistently.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, he owes us royalties.
That's true. You owe us royalties. Also, your camera froze while you're looking like the fuck.
I like it. I think we should leave
Just
it.
leave it, yeah.
That shit happens too often up there. We go back.
Yeah, let's
So,
talk about go ahead.
The Arma days, honestly, I want to know more about that because I don't think a lot of people talk about that. And
That's
that was literally where Nopixel got its start. And I've seen like early 1.0 content. I've seen like Ripley, some clips of him from early 1.0. It was the Wild West. It was fucking so different. Tell us a little bit more about like being on Arma early on Nopixel's career, like the fledgling Nopixel.
Early Nopixel was just insane. Like they had I came kind of like when all of the big names were still there. So like this was back when like I guess like Raj Patel was still going by like Raj Patel rather than like the Austin show. Like Tyler One, Greek, all of those, like it was when everyone like hopped onto that. And there wasn't like as much rhyme or reason to or like as much of a flow of RP back then. I guess it was just like there was just do whatever the fuck is going on at the time, and the entire server was 24/7 on like the same situation. Like there was the whole like Silver Lake Island, and then you'd have the entire population in like one mass of like the corner, all yelling over each other. Like it was fun for sure. And this was back when like Coyle was like chief of police and was still playing as like Francis, and was just like berating people, but in the fucking stupid Francis voice. So it was a mix of like
I don't know how he does
Soze
that
and they were good times, but I feel like a lot of it was just like there wasn't much like consequential story RP, if that makes sense. Like a lot of it was very like there was no slow burn. It was all just like quick one and done kind of thing.
Like really heavy like improv. Like you're just jumping in and improvising with people and then dipping. It's not really storytelling.
Yeah. There's just like, what's the wacky bullshit that we can do today? Okay, it's this. And then like there'd be the one bank which would lead to like a fucking hour long shootout, and then The rules for like re-engaging was so insane back then because it'd just be like you get down, you forget everything, and then someone would say like, "Oh, there's a shootout going on here. This is why you got down," and then someone would just re-engage because they're like, "Okay, oh thanks for telling
Give
me."
him a re-up on that.
Tag me in, bro.
Oh
Tag
my
me in.
God.
Tag my
Yeah.
memory, bro. Tag my memory.
It's nice seeing. It's weird seeing some of the people that used to exist like all the way back in like Armor days that is still around now, like Bison with like Boba, Nova all the way back then as well. All of the characters that were related to my character were perma banned from Nopixel, so that's great.
Are the role players or the characters?
Like all of the role players that so the like my character, but the way I've got my IC name now was because my character got like adopted into a family, and back then on the NoPixel servers, like the forum, you had to legally like apply for a name change in game on the forums.
Wish we
So
could do that now.
yeah, so like my forum name is like the same as my character name because I had to like legally apply for it, and all of the people that have like the same surname just got banned for a multitude of reasons, and there's like 20 people with the same surname that are just banned now.
So what you're saying is they haven't banned you yet. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, they'll find a reason. They'll dig it up.
I feel like I haven't seen you on. Okay, so hold on. So let's go from Arma 1, not Arma 1, GTA, nope, No Pixel 1.0 to.
Well, it was Arma, then NoPixel 1.0.
Okay, so it was Arma. Was it
Because
called?
there was the GTA NoPixel 1.0.
Got it. Yeah. So when did you come into GTA? Was it 2.0? Was it 1.0?
Fully, probably like 3. Like literally at the dawn of 3.0, because I tried my hand at it during 2.0, but it was just kind of like, okay, could be fun again. And then I just couldn't be asked to stay consistent with it. So I maybe RP'd like 4 or 5 times and didn't really want to continue trying. And then I don't know, I just found my place when it came to 3.0.
So you made Gil. Gil was pretty much your only character, right?
Yeah, that was the only one that I played. Like, it was, I guess, like, I was playing him around, like, the same issue as, like, when getting into the server was insane if you didn't have
It
prior.
was like 30 slots. It was wild.
No, like, even like, 3.0, it was, like, because that's when I made Gil, it was, like, there was still, like, 130 or something like that, 150 when they started, and I would never get in, even if I like wanted to. I'd wait like the 11 hours of the server uptime after queuing after 10 minutes, and I wouldn't get in. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'm just gonna lawyer whitelist
If you
this."
didn't have that perfect snipe, it was a 10-hour wait minimum.
Yeah, I felt like it was a lot easier at least for me to get in 3.0. I got in within the first few weeks more than I had ever been in on 2.0. It was, I don't know, maybe I just got lucky.
I think if you get good at sniping, you were fucking set. But I just was so bad at it.
Yeah, we had a whole Discord set up to like, all right, boys, the thing has changed. We've run tests. It's actually 10. It's 10 minutes after the hour, and 22.8 seconds is when you have to. It's like, okay,
My God.
but it worked.
I didn't know lawyers had prio.
Yeah, they have like their own like whitelist queue. It's insane. It's wild that there's less people that want to play like lawyer characters and just do like the fuck around kind of thing, considering it's like a free ticket.
It
into
feels
the
like
city.
lawyers get the most freedom out of all of the whitelists.
Yeah, they're pretty up there. They can just do whatever until like a cell rep comes, and that's it. And I it was how I spent like most of my time. Like I spent most of it working, because at the time lawyers were like always fucking asked for at the beginning of 3.0, and that was like the best times because you knew you could just come down again and again and again.
People
like
actually wanted to avoid consequences in the beginning of 3.0.
Yeah, when actions had consequences, yeah. And then like I remember, I can't remember who it was. One time someone did like the maths of how long I'd spent in the cells as a lawyer, and in like the space of like 3 days, they'd said that I'd spent like 15 hours in just the interrogation rooms of like
My
PD.
God.
That was like peak Wrangler versus like me, just us constantly arguing with each other, and those were like some of the best times, like memorable times, knowing that like RPing with Penta, going against him, yelling at him for fucking hours, and then he would get bored, log on mic, and then I'd have to like babysit him. It was so fun.
You just go from being his nemesis to his best buddy.
I
That's
I
great.
I fucking I wish I still played the character consistently more when like Mike was around, because I always like left my car somewhere obvious that I knew Mike Block was gonna steal. I thought it was hilarious that he would like steal his lawyer's car every time, and then I got like when I started getting rich, which kind of bored. I think that's what bored me from playing Guild as a character, was because it just like got successful. It wasn't what I wanted with the character, so I'm gonna probably like start throwing away and make him like horrendously down bad soon. But the idea of like him, Mike Box stealing my car, and it's like a fucking Mustang GT, and he's like whipping around the city in that.
I think Dab used to do that with Kevin Shaw, attorney at law, as well. He'd steal Kevin's car all the time.
Be like, nah, this is my lawyer's car.
Yeah. It's so while we're on the topic of like early Nopixel, this is something that I brought up like recently on stream, was how much development has gone into making Nopixel the way it is now. Like, people have no idea what it was like back in the day. So when I first got in, this is the height of like the summit, moon stuff. Like, that was when I think a lot of people got into Nopixel. But the audio was so much different, the voice. And I think this is something that people really overlook. You had your 3 voice levels: whisper, talking, and shouting. But if you were within range of a person, you could just hear them. Like, as soon as you walked in range, you heard them full volume.
Yeah.
There was no like, oh, muffled audio or echoed audio or anything like that, like they're in a building or nothing like that. And then sometime around in like mid 2.0, they had this idea of, I think it was called Toco VoIP, and it was a TeamSpeak plugin. So you got on TeamSpeak, you connected TeamSpeak to your GTA would register where your character was, and then Toco VoIP would like, it would control all the audio. And so suddenly there were these situations on Nopixel where, say, somebody driving past you would do that, like, say if they were screaming the whole time and they drove past you, you just hear like, right, like you'd hear their audio like getting loud and then quiet again as they went past. And it wasn't until like, I think 3.0 or beginning of 3.0, just before, that they finally dropped TeamSpeak and went to what it is now, which includes the same thing, the same like ranged audio, where somebody shouting, even if they're 30 feet away from you, can sound quiet, right? But if they're shouting right next to you, they sound loud. I just think it's just like this tiny little overlooked fact.
It's huge, right?
That people just don't know about. They don't know that that's how it was.
It's like such a more immersive change to everything as well. Just like being able to, it was so weird. Like, you'd walk into like a 30-foot range of someone and hear them like crystal clear.
Full
volume. So many conversations, man.
Yeah, that was wild.
It was like that on Armor as well. Like,
a lot of you'll see like a lot of the older cops, or like older players, are the ones who are going to tell you to like lower your voice or shut up, because they're just they were so used to that back in the day, right? Like in the cells, somebody will come and yell at you for be quiet, stop shouting. Whereas like, I think a lot of us who just get used to it, we just hear the louder voices.
Like, all the way back in Armor as well, it was so fucked, because we'd have like a casino made there as well, and that was like, there was no lifts or anything like we have with like the GTA one, where it separated everyone out by different rooms and stuff. So you'd have maybe the entire server all at the casino gambling at the same time, because that was just like the neat hang around spot, and you'd have 50 voices all like layered over each other. And like, you could be on like 10 different floors and you could hear them talking above you. It's just, yeah, that was insane. Like I don't know how anyone managed to hold like a conversation back then.
Yeah, it's just crazy how it is now. And it's funny to think that like even back when we were using Toko VoIP, you know, occasionally it would bug out and everyone like Toko just wouldn't register anybody's location, and then suddenly you heard everybody cross server. Yeah,
just be walking
and then
and
I remember thinking, because like this is the time when they were testing like 60 slots for the server. I think it was like 68 or something like that. They were trying to test the limits. You got to like 72 slots. I just imagine like what if that happened these days with 250 slots? Like suddenly you just hear like 250 voices just all across the server.
I've been having a thing on Nopixel on John Hydra where when people get on something to do with when they're using the ATC, I can hear them as if they're standing right next to me. Like their voice sounds like it's coming out of my character.
Yeah, you gotta mumble or plus mumble for that. That's just a ATC bug.
I've been role playing it as Hydra. It's like hearing voices.
I've got something I want to bring up about the armor days. First of all, I wanted to ask you that name Kinkyhobo. Where did it come from?
Holy shit! I've had this since I was like 13. There's no like, rhyme or reason about it.
Me too.
I don't know. I can't remember what I was even called before. I just like went by something, and then I was playing Maple Story a lot at the time. I was looking for like a name change. Then someone recommended me this name. I was like, okay, I'll stick with it, and I've literally kept with it since then. I've never changed.
That's why my name was Gogsto when you first came into Discord today, because somebody I revealed my childhood, like it's like my first or second grade like alias that I went for like 6 months or something like that.
Dude, my first name that I ever used was like on RuneScape, and I was like, I think I just watched like Indiana Jones, and I fucking put my name as like Indiana 31. And at every game that I'd ever go on, someone was just like, "Oh, are you from Indiana, man?" I was like, "I don't know where that is."
I just remember something too about my old name. It was Gogsta_ILAF, and I remember AF was because I had a crush on this girl in like the second grade. Her initials were AF, and so
I love AF.
Like, love her.
Oh my god! And you like kept so that with you.
Yeah. And then people started figuring it out. I think that was what eventually like made me change the the alias anyway.
You just like repping your crush on like Modern Warfare.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this was like, I'm not even kidding. I've been Troms for like 20 something years. It's been wild. I think 24 years maybe that I've been Trauma.
Holy shit.
Troms.
Yeah, that's almost my entire existence.
Yeah, little baby.
Speaking of this little baby, let's congratulate our little baby on officially hitting Twitch partner this week. Let's go, man.
Hot shit.
All thanks in part to the traffic he received from the Nopixel podcast.
Yeah,
that's right.
That's right. Thanks, everybody.
YESPIXEL made me. YESPIXEL made me.
Dude, we should go back and like get a clip of all of our streams of when Moosebeard and John Hydra took Carmine out to the anti-possession lake. And because I genuinely, like, I know I've been memeing about it, but that was kind of the moment when we like talked you into like, hey, come back, like, come play with us. Like, we'll help you make it happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's he would have done it without us. But it was a good little jump start.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're a great role player, super funny guy.
You're okay. You're kind of funny.
Kind of funny, I guess.
What did you do with Eugene yesterday? You pulled him behind a dumpster and took. Were you taking
selfies? No. Oh my god, I got so much heat for that. What was it?
What?
What's it called? Fuck.
Describe it.
What's the like rendezvous point when people get down? What's that shit called?
Triage.
Triage.
Yeah.
That's it. Triage. Jesus, I could never lead a scene. So we had a triage.
Everyone
set
go
up,
to the
right?
rendezvous point where people get down.
I guess. But there was a triage set up, and I brought Eugene there because I gunned him down. He was my 95.
My man.
I brought him there, and this is off the books, okay? But he wanted to hold on
Well,
to
this
his
is
dongle.
this is recorded. So.
I don't know, on the books, but I see off the books. No metagaming.
Okay.
What did he? How do you know he wanted to keep it?
I mean, he was.
OCL?
No, he wasn't molding. I mean, Eugene usually.
He does
after,
it.
like,
Vader's a really good guy.
Please don't take my dongle. I need my
Please
dinky
don't.
dongle.
Exactly, just like that. And I was like, okay, fine, but I need something out of this. So I said, let me wear the chain. He said, okay. I took him around the back to a dumpster, literally 5 feet away. Put on the chain, took a few selfies,
Put it back.
and brought him back to the triage. And in my opinion, that's still triage. 5
Yeah.
feet away from triage is not triage.
Yeah, that sounds
And
fun.
the
That's
next
some
thing
funny
you know,
roleplay.
I got someone breathing down my neck asking me, what do you do to the 95? Where did you take him? What are you doing? You can't do that. You took him away from triage. What are you doing? And then
Who
this
was
person went on to, I don't want to
You
say.
were. I saw you. I was down. You weren't that far.
Yeah, it was literally like a dumpster on
Or
the same
you say it,
street.
Trumps. Who was it? No, I'm just kidding.
I actually don't know.
And then someone went and told Brian, and Brian spoke to me about it. And then
Oh, I saw him pull you aside. Okay, I saw that.
That's definitely.
Yeah.
What's funny is that's definitely something Brian would do, right? Like that's.
I told
1000%
Brian,
something-
no, I told Brian, Carmine told Brian what he did, and Brian was like, "Okay, that's not a big deal."
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Betty's-
not.
Betty's
It was
so good.
it was nothing crazy.
Yeah.
Especially if you're truthful with him too.
Yeah.
You're not like doing something that's I can't even come up with the word for it right now. Just being untruthful or personal gain or anything like that. If you're just like, yeah, I did that because he wanted to keep his dongle and I wanted to wear his chain.
Oh no, I
Yeah,
didn't tell him
all
that.
right.
I lied about that. Not tell him.
Yeah,
I told him, hey, he said he dropped his glasses by the dumpster. We're just going to look, you know. I told him the truth about what I did, but not why I did what I did.
Mm-hmm.
Because, yeah, you know, sometimes you gotta tell white lies.
Little sneak.
Do you think you're close to
liar?
Do you think you're close to full officer?
I don't know. I have not. I may probably not. I don't know. But I'm not. I don't really care if I get full officer this week or 2 months.
I
from
need you to
now.
have full officer so that when I get full officer, we can ride together.
Imagine
would
if
be
he gets it
nice.
before you, Hydra.
You might.
Oh,
People don't like me. I might never get it.
Have you not like even heard like anything about getting a final yet?
No.
The fuck?
The only thing I've heard in the last 30 days was you had 3 reports out of like 50 that were not complete. I was like, oh, all right.
That's 2 months
That's
back
what
for
you
you.
get. That's what you get for pitting tow trucks on the way to the tow yard, Hydra.
Dude, dude, that pissed me off. I did not pit that fucking guy. I was boosting him, right? And this guy started teleporting all over the place and he
Oh.
spun out.
You're boosting, huh? There's a booster.
Little booster.
And then that cop got shot by a guy with a suppressor, and then we got saved by PD Tow, American hero Dewey Dangle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Wait,
there
do
for
we
that.
shot him down?
No, here,
Yep.
I can play the clip. It's really funny.
No, I just want to know what happened. I don't want the clip.
We're watching the clip.
I don't want the clip.
I almost killed Dewey because he was all messed up and shit.
So, long story short, some guy is like pretending to be a cop trying to get into MRPD, and he's been like dicking with PD Tow all day. And so John Hydra's like, if he keeps dicking with you, if he tries to get in and park his car in PD Tow again, tow it. Like I'll write up the report, I'll do everything. Like tow it. And they go, okay. So he goes in and parks his car. They go to tow it, and he goes, hey, if you tow my car, I'll kill both of you.
What?
And we're like, they're like, okay. So John Hydra
You should have
gets on
shot
the-
him right there.
So John Hydra gets on the flatbed of the tow truck, and I can't remember his name, but his initials are HH.
Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Harvey Holden.
Harvey Holden, that's the one. Yeah. So Harvey Holden sees this happening, and he comes with us to impound. We get to impound, and Harvey and I, we kind of think it's like an SBS thing. This guy's been kind of a goofball all day, trying to pretend to be a cop. We've been rolling with it. And so we're like, okay, no, we're actually arresting you now because like you're actually like following through on your threat to like intimidate and like hurt PD Toe. So you're being arrested right now. We go to tase him, and this guy's a cuff god. We can't cuff him, right? So we tase him a couple of times. I tase him, and I guess he's like still in the immunity window. He doesn't go down. So while I'm switching from my taser to my gun, and the other guy's switching from his gun to his taser or reloading, he pulls out a suppressed deagle or something and kills Holden. Oh my God. At the same time, Holden and I both, there's like another situation going on with like Mr. K and some hostages, but we're on channel 2, and so we call out real quick. We're just like, both of us at the same time are like 78 impound lot. I run around the corner. I swear to fuck, I pull out my AR. I go to shoot this guy, and my gun fires twice and then stops shooting. My gun actually jammed. I don't know what happened. I've been having headaches all day, and so my gun was like not responding. So I just role-played it as my gun jammed. Cherry and Dewey, while this is happening, pull their pistols out. Cherry gets shot down, and Dewey fucking dangles, claps this guy up. Real American hero. Carmine is out there, and he's like, "There's a tow lot guy with an orange vest. He's put his hands in the air. He's surrendering." And then they come in. Oh, it was so your comms were super clean, by the way, during that 52.
Yeah,
It was nice to hear you like be serious
Max
on a
over
scene.
here.
That was really sick. But yeah, so we all just role played it like Dewey's a hero. I think in my report, find it. In my report, I wrote like, real American hero Dewey Dangle, in order to save life and property of law enforcement officers, aimed with his heart and shot true. So good.
Funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what things gotta change about some of that kind of stuff, like with them being government employees now, right? Like,
Yeah,
it should be
the guy got
kind of okay.
Yeah, the guy got ×4 attempted murder on
Attempted
government
murder.
officials. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should be able to. I got to talk to Jenny about them being able to have MP5s. I think they should be able to have them.
Oh, better yet, give them panic buttons. I mean, the government employees,
you know what?
EMS have it.
I think I agree with Jenny, but it's thinking about it from like a role play standpoint. Whereas, say if you're a character who is kind of being a little shitlordy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might not want to kidnap somebody who's got an MP5, right? It opens them up to more potential fun if all they can defend themselves with is a pistol.
Like they're still easily defendable with what they've got, but they're not like a fucking barrage of class 2 fire as soon as you try and kidnap one of them.
Yeah. I can kind of see that. I think we should have an in-character meeting about it. I would love to hear everybody's like in-character reasonings for it. It'd be really interesting.
I think that there's it'd be such a hard meeting to hold that and then like not blur the lines with like OOC talk of like we also do kind of want them to get kidnapped a tiny bit.
Well, John Hydra said that before. He's like, I think PDSO should get kidnapped. It builds character.
We got kidnapped.
We got kidnapped so much. When we were PDTO,
I built a really good rapport with Chatterbox because
I built a really good rapport with Mel Rickenbacker.
I never got kidnapped.
Because everyone just shot you instead of kidnapping.
No. I had a win strat, okay, where I piss people off, right? I go around piss people off.
This is the meta.
And after I piss them off, I tell them where I am. I tell them that I'm at PD Toe, and I hide in that booth. That booth, I think I'm pretty sure it's a little powerful, but the windows are bulletproof, right?
They are not.
No,
they're not. They're not even shoe proof.
Well, I never had to find out because they'd come, they'd see 100 cops.
The armor of imagination.
Well, they'd see like 10, 20 cops at MRPD, and I'd call in 911. People trying to kill me at PD Toe lot. And there'll be cops there just waiting. They'd drive by and they'd go. They'd drive by and they'd go. No one would ever go for it. So yeah, I wanted to ask you, Kinkyhobo, have you ever been reprimanded? Super cop over here, Max Muller.
Have I ever been reprimanded? A couple times in like early career when I was like doing like cadet shit. My first ever cadet session, I just watched as Bundy's head got like kicked in while he was on the ground, and everyone was like, "Why aren't you doing anything?" And I was like, "I just don't know what to do, man." But, and then Bundy also has like reprimanded me for committing a war crime once as well.
Go
Because
on.
we took someone out of Bolingbrook as like uh a trade for a serial killer. We took a serial killer that we caught out of Bolingbrook
Mm-hmm.
because their brother, who's also a serial killer, had James Arsenal hostage and was going to kill him, and they wanted to do a trade. So like the plan was like if the serial killer got the person that we let out back, they started driving away. We were supposed to shoot them, but then all of like the SCU fucked up with communication. So I was the only person that opened fire, and I was just like blasting with a fucking Mark 14 into a bush, and I killed both of them. I think both of them permed off of it, and then
Oh my God.
Bundy said like you committed like a war crime, like you killed someone that was in your care and custody. I was like, I'd do it again. Nothing ever came from it. I really like. I guess it's like from like an outside perspective because we don't ride all that much together, me and you 52, but I do a lot to actually that where I should get reprimanded. Like I'm really trying my hardest to be like corrupt and like antagonizing people and fucking with them. But because I like then role play a lot as serious as well, it doesn't go that way. Like I'm really like I yesterday Ursula vaguely ran past me with a hammer and I shot her in the back. And
Oh man.
and like I want people to put like I want it to be back in the old days where I was like on the other side in like DOJ where I was like suing every cop for like 50 grand every fucking like other day for some like rights violation or
You
some
want
like
someone to
poor
do the same to
conduct.
you, like make you go to court over
Yeah.
some shit.
Yeah, like the amount of times where I'll just like I'm like borderline like VDMing people some days and no one's doing anything. So
Just wait, buddy.
Yeah.
VDM a fucking Crim Littleman and see what happens.
you're gonna get back on stanky leg and I'll run your ass over.
Stanky leg, more like broken legs now. Have a good one.
He was broken legs for a while when Cornwood fucking wrecked into him at 140 miles an hour on the sidewalk, no lights, no sirens, and all I heard was quad immunity.
Your own father? Oh no, that's Stanky. Never mind.
John Hydra.
That's,
I wish I could remember
John
what
Hydra's-
cop said Cornwood was John Hydra's dad. That was so funny. Dude, that was such
I thought it was a doctor.
it was a doctor. What did I say?
Say a cop? I thought you said cop.
No, doctor.
I think okay.
It was back when Pillbox was a thing.
Oh
He
man,
went
that
in
feels like it
he
was
went
so
in because he
long
thought he
ago.
had super AIDS. And they had to do genetic testing. And he's like, "Do you know who your dad is?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "Are you open to me telling you who your dad is?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." He's like, "Hold on. Looks like Cornwood here is 48 years old, and you're how old?" I was like 23, and he's like, "Yep, it matches up." So John Hydra sends Cornwood a text like every week. He's like, "Hey, Cornwood sir, hope you're doing good out there. If you ever need anything, give me a holler."
Just waiting for the day he comes back. Yeah.
Son,
He's your dad.
it's funny. One of my original ways of trying to get cop as John Hydra when I was PD Tone and like desperate to get out of there because it had been so long and I was basically alone every day. I talked to a couple cops about John Hydra like ghostwriting their reports for them. And Cornwood never fucking wrote his report. So he's like, "Dude, I'll do it." And Cornwood was like, "Yeah, actually, I'd love this. It's a really good idea." And that was the day that he quit the server.
Oh my god.
He's like, "I'll come in tomorrow. I'll tell you, I'll talk to you about the reports and you can write it up." And I was like, "Perfect. Sounds good." And he never came back.
Dude, you got fucked up when it came to like you going from PD toe to PD. Like the amount of time that it took just was insanely unfair compared to everyone else. Like you were already like a PD toe lead, and then I started like RPing as my fucking cop character. You brought me in, and then I got in, and you were still there for like fucking months.
Do you
It's
remember?
like,
I literally went to Bass. I was literally like, dude, I was trying to say this is what's your lawyer's name?
Gil.
I was like, this is
Gil
Gil.
Schultz.
And I was like, there's a guy who's a cop here. He was a cop in another city. He's like really good. He's like, oh, cool. And I was like, he knows somebody in the city. And he's like, who? He's like, I think he's a cousin of Gil. And he's like, who? I was like, Gil, the lawyer. And he's like, oh, tell him to come talk to me. And I was like, okay. And then you're basically a cop that week.
Yeah, it's so it was insane because like the amount of like RP, the rapport that you had with everyone as well was so fucking good. It was like way higher than I had with all of the people because I just couldn't do that quick interaction as they drove past.
Yeah.
I hated that. Hey, how you doing? I hated that shit.
I hate it as well. I hate receiving it as well though. That's the worst part.
Because you know they're just desperate for attention and like trying to get noticed, but also not trying to be obnoxious. It's like everybody knows nobody wants to be doing this, but they're all trying, and you're like, all right, let's fucking do the thing real quick.
Yeah, I learned quickly that if you want to be bored, just say, "Hey, how you doing?" If you want to get like 10 minutes of,
Tell them to go fuck themselves.
yeah, tell them to go fuck themselves.
That's why John Hydra was an
goes
asshole. Dude, I still can't believe I got denied my first PD interview. Dude, it was so. I went back and watched it after with some people. Dude, it was so funny. We were rolling around and they were like, "No, he's not serious enough." It's like, okay.
Fuck, man.
So for my second one, I was like a robot, and they were like, "We just feel like we want to make sure that you're gonna have like a lot of personality and like not basically not be a robot." And I was like.
Was it the same people
Yep.
that interviewed?
That's,
Love him to death. Love him to death. I really do.
You know what's funny is I feel like there's been a gradual change away, and it's been noticeable for people who been around for a long time, but like a gradual change away from like the RoboCop 2.0 cop, right? And even a lot of the oldest cops will say like things were different. I even had Brian say recently, like back when when I started, things were so much different, right? But now I feel like there were a lot of people who like helped kind of pave the way for more character-based cops, like Kyle being one of them.
Oh yeah,
right. Like there was nobody who was doing the shit that he was doing, where he was, loose cannon, where he was, kind of iffy about if he was following the rules or the law or anything like that, right? He just let the power go completely to his head, and I think stuff like that is just so good, and it's really paved the way for other people. Like we have a block cop now.
Yeah, Mono. Actually, I was just talking to him the other day.
We have another time traveler on the force, but he actually like really plays it up. Yeah, he's literally 100 years old.
I make that guy do reports anytime I see him.
We just have so many people who are dedicated characters now, and I love that. In fact, something that I've noticed recently is, and this kind of like Walnut helped me see this, is we have a whole branch of cops that are just morale cops, and that's the in character way to say that they're literally just RP cops. Like we've guys like Bobby Boulderman or Brick James, these guys who are like these big characters. They don't exactly do the greatest cop work. Like you'll never see them leading a scene or dominating a shootout or anything like that. But these guys are just like these huge, hilarious, funny characters. Like Seal Apocalypse Boulderman is so fucking funny. He's underrated. And
Yeah,
I don't even know if he fucking streams, but
he doesn't. Bobby's one of the better ones out there as well, because like Bobby's like hilarious as shit, but he's also like he's one of those role players where he's like not trying to fucking like work on his like tight five. He's just like there as like a support 24/7, and he's like he never has to be the lead person on anything, and he's always willing to RP to make it funnier, but let someone else like have the main kind of cue, I guess. He's great.
I was so sad. I mentioned this recently about how I was like, I love riding with him. I'll put him in my car any day of the week. In fact, I'll even call him up specifically and say, get in my car. And I asked him one time, I was like, who else are you riding with? And he said, oh, you're the only person I ride with. Like nobody else asks. And I was like,
what the fuck?
Are you kidding me?
That's
like
insane.
That is insane. He literally made Walnut one time like break down laughing so hard that he couldn't even speak. Like that's how funny this guy is, that he made someone else who's hilarious just in tears.
It's like with tips as well. Like I wish I'd started interacting with tips far earlier than I did.
I didn't think he was that funny. Like, and then I started riding with him,
Richard
and just
Tips.
like his personality just exploded, and I was like, this guy is absolutely hilarious. Both of those characters, by the way, both of those streamers, those role players, heavy on the meta, like insane. Like I had Bobby call me recently. He's like, "Oh, I see you're riding with somebody," and I was like, "Yeah, how'd you know?" He's like, "I saw it on your stream." All right, man. Like, okay, sure. Tips does the exact same shit to me too.
I met it a little. I did some like OOC speak. I called Carmine for something and told him that I gave his brother like $3,000 in repairs or something. And he's like, "Why'd you do that?" Like, and I was like, "Oh, I was hoping you'd raid me now that you're
Nice one, nice one, buddy. What about Turo? You guys know Turo?
I rode with Turo for a couple hours.
Former
Dude,
DOC.
this whole week. Okay, so for people that don't know, I'm having some terrible dental issues this week. So I've been riding with other cops. I got permission to, because I can't be trusted. I don't trust myself alone. I need somebody to rein me in if I start doing some wild shit, because I've been on painkillers. And so I've been riding people. So I rode with Turo, and every day when I'm riding with somebody, they start having really bad headaches and like disconnecting from the server. It happened to Turo like 6 times, and he's like, "I swear to God, Hydra, if you make my head explode one more time, I'm going off duty." And then 10 minutes later, he's gone. That was funny, dude. I've really been feeling myself this week. Like, maybe it's the drugs, but shut up, Troms. Troms is currently staring at the camera. Dude, my shooting has been on point. I feel like my police work has been really good. I think I'm just throwing myself into the role play really hard because I'm like in agony, and I'm just trying to distract myself really hard from it. And I've been having a really good time in the character, even though I've been having to talk a little less and like focus up a little. It's been really fun. Hopefully Troms hasn't minded me like just jumping in his car and assigning myself to him.
Yeah, I've just been telling everybody I'm babysitting you. Yeah, I'm just babysitting him. He's on drugs. What? Yeah, he's
Oh my
mental.
God, the swimming thing the other day.
Oh, dude, cream of the crop. I was wheezing hard. I laughed so hard that day. Oh man, just seeing you. Okay, so we were in the water, and then Hydra was a bully. He grabs T-Veeman's bike and throws his bike in the water. So I was giving the Cubans my tugboat for the day so they could go do dumb shit. I think Osvaldo wanted it so he could recreate Steamboat Willie or whatever his name is, Steamboat Charlie.
Steamboat Willie, yeah.
Yeah, the Disney thing with Mickey Mouse. So I give him my tugboat. I was like, whatever, you go have fun. T shows up. Hydra throws his bike in the water. I go, Hydra, why'd you do that? That was mean. And then Hydra falls in the water, and then he moves off to the shore where that ramp is, like the boat dock loading ramp thing. And when he gets out of the water, he's still doing the swimming animation. So he is perfectly horizontal, and he's just
3 feet off the ground,
cruising like this, 3 feet off, floating 3 feet off the ground. He's like Supermaning off the ground, total plank, just floating. Oh, I thought that was the funniest thing. I almost cried. It was probably one of the funniest. I'd never seen that glitch before. I've been like early 3.0 fisherman for like 3 months.
Yeah, I want to try to recreate it.
I think it'd be difficult. I think it was just like a perfect storm.
Yeah,
and then he got in my car and it was still happening. I
couldn't in the car
together.
And then I ruined it by getting out too quickly, which I always do.
It is what it is. It was funny. It's really funny.
I was just swimming. I was swimming in circles around you, and you were trying to talk to somebody on the phone, and you kept laughing.
Yeah, it was, you were going. You're doing the Super Mario like water theme. That was funny.
Kinky, I noticed that you not recently, but you've been playing on Wild RP, Red Dead. What's your opinions on role play in Red Dead and NoPixel? How do they differ from your
Oh,
point of view?
dude, they're fucking night and day now, man. They're so different. And like I love both, and I spend like a huge amount of time on like GTA RP, so it's obvious that like I love GTA RP. But Wild RP, man, is so fucking like immersive. Like you can have like the SBS shit. Like I role played with Chief, Penta, Walnut, uh, a while back on Wild RP, and we just had I think all of us got banned from like one of the towns. Like they literally like said you're not allowed to come back into Valentine for the next like 3 days. But the RP on Wild is so insane. Like I got lucky that my main character that's like kind of serious RP fell in with one of like the bigger gangs, and now that Bass's character is dead, other character. Oh, sorry, spoiler,
Wait, he's
spoiler.
dead?
Wait,
Yeah, yeah, Sam Bass died. He got like killed at like a shootout that happened in the West. But um,
oh, so
the
his
the
Wild
gang,
RP character died.
yeah,
Is
yeah,
that why
yeah,
people were saying
yeah.
he was dead? In
No, he's also he's in Ohio in
oh
in
right, okay.
GTRP, but he was like taken to purgatory for a bit in GTRP. But Wild is just insane. Like I love it so much, man. Like I roll with like a gang called like Boone's Boys or like Emerald Ranch Gang, and they're now like at this point the only gang remaining in the West, to the point where like uh, it's nice to know that my character has like RP consequences behind all of
Mm-hmm.
it, because I've been told that as soon as my character gets caught, and if it's with the majority of my gang, then we're all getting hung, and it's really nice to know
Oh
that.
my god,
Like
forced perma?
Forced
Nice to know
perma.
you're gonna die.
well, it's nice to know that like my character has like consequences to it, and every time like I'm riding alone or riding with people, there's like a
Consequences.
it's Wild RP consequences are fucking great. And like now that like it's the fighting is very hard in Wild RP. Like having like shootouts are insane. They're like really drawn out. They're not quick paced. The guns feel like so much louder, heavier, more impactful, and like I don't know. It just feels like so much more like gritty, and there's something so cool about like knowing that all of the crimes that my guys committed are like being tracked, because they don't have like like a proper MDW. They
Mm-hmm.
like they don't have like a warrant reminder kind of thing like we do. We just like if they remember who I am, they remember what charges I have. And my character's been on the run for like 3 months now, and I think like the leader of my gang has been on the run for like half a year, and to the point where we know that the leader of the gang, if he goes to Sisika, even if he doesn't get hung, he's deciding to like RP kill himself, because he's like 60 years old. He gets like a 20-year sentence. There's no way he's living.
Mm-hmm.
So
Who? What's the name of the leader? Who is it?
it's Boone, Elias Boone. He's like an old man. It's basically there's a ranch in between like Valentine and Rhodes called Emerald Ranch, and they all started there. Uh, they
Oh
used
yeah.
to be like they used to be with like James Kelly's gang, and like the Kettlemans, and then they kind of were teaching Bass's club some stuff when it all started, and then they made like the gang rule where you had to actually be in a gang of like 8 to 12 members, and you weren't allowed to like mix and match. So that's when we kind of separated into our own little thing. But we were
Yeah,
like
I
pretty,
saw that role.
yeah, it's a weird little rule, but I guess it makes sense. But we kind of like were allies to like the Kellys, the Kettlemans, Bass's Club, and it's we're more of like a fuck around kind of gang, and we like do one job and then lay low for like 3 days. But compared to like the constant like hitting a bank every day, like some people were doing, which I like not a bad thing, but it's like too high pace. We
Mm-hmm.
would just like do something really wild, like we would find out that someone was feeding information to like a member of the law who was an ex-medic that used to be like friends of ours, and then we'd ask them to come out somewhere, and then like we fucking like scalped one person. Like
Holy
the
shit.
amount of like the amount of like RP and people willing to take like uh disabilities or like torture RP or like just take on any consequence, and then like you in turn agreeing that if you carry on doing like this kind of RP, you're gonna get hung for what you're doing. It's really nice. I love it over there in the slow burn RP.
Yeah, I know what you mean. If I had to use an analogy, like with SBS and consequences,
Hmm.
SBS it's like an unseasoned chicken that's been cooked right. Yeah, you made it quickly. You can eat it. It's kind of nice, I guess, if you like
Mhm.
unseasoned chicken. But slow burn consequences, where it takes a little longer, but the end result is just so much better,
Mm-hmm.
so much better. And I wish that's something people on Nopixel, figured out that yeah, you can put in a little bit of work if you want. You can speed run something and get something out of it, like 10 minutes of content. But you could also try and have at least one or two long story arcs going on too, where you could get consequences and it could lead to something. I feel like
Yeah.
that alone would probably revitalize the community, but I don't see it happening,
Oh,
man.
yeah, it's too deep into the meta of like SBS, and quick content is key. But it's like I think a lot of people lose the idea that uh long burn, like slow burn RP doesn't have to be like your everything. Like you can mix between like doing slow burn RP, then do SBS when you can't feed into the other one, and then go back to like the slow burn RP like afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Like the consequence kind of shit as well. Like I think it was this week. Uh, the leader of our gang has like a son who's also in the gang, and the son literally just like punched him like a couple times, and uh now we're like RPing that he's like removed from the fucking gang. He's like basically being exiled. Like there's so much like fucking some minor like SBS that would have turned into like okay, let's carry on, is now gone to like this guy's entire like life story is now like fucked,
Yeah, dude,
and everything's changed.
I really like that actually. I played the Yazukas in the prison, and we had one person who was in the Yazukas who like all he would do is like ADHD SBS, right? And he like would punch my character who was I was really trying really hard to play this guy's like a scary, like young, like sort of psycho gang leader, right? Like very cold and calculating. And this guy would like run in like, haha, punch in face, kick on down, take shoes, haha. And I was like, dude, I messaged him. I was like, dude, like, can we not do this? Like, we're supposed to be role playing like people like respect, like in the family, like this character. And if this keeps happening, we're gonna have to like kill your character or something, like get you out of the family. And he's like, that's fine. I'll still be in the prison in a Yazuka and just not part of the family. And I was like, dude, like, come on, bro. Like,
Man,
come on.
so please don't detract from like especially when you're going into a situation where you have all of the people agreeing to like what kind of style.
Yep. And
And
that's
then
literally we basically had like a blooding in of the family. Like you can be married into the family, but you have to follow these rules. And it's like almost a religion. It's so serious. And they were like, "Oh, this sounds so good." And then the ADHD took hold. It was so disappointing.
Dude, did you go on like Wild RP that much now, 52?
Yeah, I was on it.
I
I made a new character called Cosmo Costello, trying to play as a saloon
Oh, hell
manager who's
yeah.
got a double barrel hiding under the counter. People act up, just whip that shit out. Get the fuck out of my bar, you bozo.
Oh, we
It's
should all
been
make
fun.
Costellos on Wild RP. That actually sounds awesome.
Oh, it's a Costellos.
You gotta train us on how
No
to do the
patrons of
voice.
Valentine. I could. I mean, just watch The Casino or any movie Joe Pesci's in, and you'll have it.
Is that funny to you? Am I funny to you? Funny
Yes,
how?
they're
Funny
right
like a
there.
clown. Funny haha.
Hey,
You guys-
it's me, the Costellos. Watch out, guys.
It's
I've got
me.
a shotgun.
I'm Costello. I'm gonna
It's me,
I had a really fun idea for a gang.
John Costello.
John Costello. John Costello
Just
family
Travis
member.
Costello. One person I want to give kudos to is WTF Moses.
Oh yeah.
That
Oh,
guy,
dude, yeah,
he
He got the bag. He threw it over his shoulder and he walked away.
Yeah, I didn't think I thought he was gonna like try and get back into PD, but he's been doing his own thing with it.
Wait,
The
so what
character he
happened?
He's
just
What
made
back
on
in
a
happened?
PD.
whim.
So yeah,
Who's the other
Moses.
character?
Yeah, so Moses, like McNulty, uh, he fucking basically had like Chinese buyers like say, "Hey, your account has like so much
Oh, that's
value
him. Yeah,
to
yeah,
it."
yeah. So
Yeah,
he had the
yeah. So
promo.
he sold that for like 30K, not realizing that his GTA RP characters are tied to the Steam account. So obviously he's like now got like a new Steam account and he's like RPing again, but he lost all of like the characters and progression that he had.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously he's got prior, so the dude's just like free to do whatever the fuck he wants now, and he's back to no commitment. I think that's probably something that's like really revitalized him getting to
Oh, I
RP and
bet.
stuff.
Yeah. Genuinely, I think if everybody, I just kind of wish we could like do a reset. I know it would get back to where it is pretty fast because people don't want to change. But man, it sounds so nice just making a fresh character. I really want to do that. I really want to take a group of friends like you guys or something and just make all fresh characters that come into the city knowing each other but have no expectations of where you're going to go and just see what happens. That sounds so exciting and fun.
I like
That's
that.
exactly what Moses did. He made a character called Paulie Costello. The only
Oh, is that
backstory he
him? I
had,
love Polly.
yeah,
Hell yeah.
yeah. He just so he DM'd me one day and he said, "Hey, you mind if I do something like a cousin or relative of your character?" I was like, "Sure." And he made him, and we role played one day, and then it just spiraled, and now he's doing his own thing, getting like what was it? 2 days ago, he was in the same place as the whole seaside thing that was going on, the bombings, the jammers, and he was at the wrong place at the wrong time, like the entire day through those events, and they thought it was
At the
him.
courthouse. I remember,
Yeah.
yeah, because somebody got a picture and it didn't look like him at all, but they saw him in like a photo and the photo was called out. So they went and they arrested him. And even people on radio were saying like this isn't the guy, like this isn't the guy, but they still fucking like kept arrested, like they detained him and like were harassing him and shit. I saw all
Uh,
that.
yeah, he's been having fun with it, man. He's been improv is good, man. When you don't have expectations and you just go where the story takes you. It's nice. It's nice.
Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah,
didn't know that
I
was him.
think
That's sick.
like when you've got like Prio in the server, you just have like full access to do whatever the fuck you want, and it's so like relieving and nice.
Yeah, part of the reason I wanted cop initially is that I was like, man, my Prio's not very good. And then I was like, wait, like recently I've been like, what the fuck am I saying? There are people who are incredible role players who still don't have Prio, and I'm like whining about having to wait 30 minutes to get in. Like coming in at like 2 p.m., right? Like way after reset or something. Like nah. So I've just been trying to get on, and I've really been trying to like role play my cop really well because my goal right now is to get him to a full officer just so I can like ride with people because I think that's way more interesting and more fun for me. And then also just start playing a new character. I really want to play a new character or my old character that I haven't gotten to play because he got a forced name change and I was baby raging about it.
Wait,
But
what was that one?
Evil Brian.
What was the name changed to?
Well, I tried to change it to evil, like Evil Knievel, and they were like, no, it's still a funny joke and you can't have that. And then I was like, okay, well, can I change it to BryanKnighc, Brian Knight? And they were like, no, you can't have the same name as Brian. I was like, well, it's a different name. And he's like, no. And I was like, well, what about Brian, Brian Knight, Night? And he was like, that's fine. And I was like, okay, dude. So his name's Brian Knight now.
Right.
Now, I got a question for pretty much everyone here. Hydra just answered it, but what's you guys got any like long-term plans or no pixel? Like any
That's actually a
goals
really
you
good question. I think most people don't think that way because it's a like for a lot of us it's a job or we're trying to make it a job, and we just kind of get on and wing it every day and hope that the people watching us keep giving us money.
Yeah, I don't have any huge plan for it actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I really
Same
can't
here.
say that
I was gonna say the same. I bet go for it.
I thought I had something, but then I was like, wait, like I actually don't.
Mm-hmm.
No, nothing. I have no long-term goals. I do have one goal, and I was reached out to by members of the Hidden, Cooper Hart, a couple of those guys, they want Moose Beard, or sorry, they want me to join the Hidden, and I have this other character, Gord Ranson. He's a good old Canadian boy from mean streets of Alberta. You know, played lacrosse, a lot of lacrosse. Fucking his wife owns a loose leaf tea business, but he's tired of her. Can't stand working for her all the time, so he's just, you know, he wants to get out there with the boys and have some fun, right? Fucking right. So I've been trying desperately to get on and play Crim. There's just something in my brain that just won't let me play a serious Crim, and I want to. I really do. But it's the little men and the moose beard inside me that are just they're screaming and they're clawing to get out. I had Pete Griffin recently tell me on Gord that he robbed a bank. You know, he goes, "Hey, I robbed a bank earlier," and I was like, "Like, what the fuck do you mean you robbed a bank? Like, you fucking just walked in there and you just took all the money? What is this, Wild West?" He's like, "Yeah, that's what I did." Like, okay.
The cops didn't even come. Yeah,
that's what he said. Yeah, he's like, cops didn't even show up. What the fuck do you mean they didn't show up? Didn't they get you on fucking camera? Like, aren't you gonna be wanted by the FIB or some shit? Like, trying to like wrap his head around the fact that people rob banks. Like, that's what I that's what I want.
You know, Charlie Payne in The Hidden, played by LML Rocks LML. So this dude, Rocks, has been a viewer of mine since like day one of Stanky. Like, this guy has always been around. Super funny guy. I didn't realize he was part of The Hidden. So the other day I'm riding with Troms, and he's asking, I was like, "Hey, are you guys?" I was like, "Are you guys part of The Hidden?" And he's like, "Well, what are your names?" And he goes, "Well," I was like, "I'm John Hydra." And he goes, "Well, Hydra, please, let me tell you." And I was like, "You motherfucker, who are you?" Because he said the Hydra, please. And I was like, "He said the thing." And yeah, so then he rated me afterwards. I was like, "Oh, I had no idea that you were on the server. That's crazy." And I guess he'd told me before, but I just have a shit memory. And so now he was like, "Dude, we got to get you in The Hidden." And I was like, "Dude, could you imagine Stanky like in The Hidden? What the fuck?" That'd be pretty funny.
I think that would be good. I think, you know,
they seem really
I look at their group. I look at their group, and they've got a good collection of like almost like serious to the point of malding when they get arrested. But they have I think we got one or two guys that might be like that. But then the rest of them are just like so chill. If you've ever arrested Cooper or Willie Hart, these guys are like, you got me. Okay. You know, like, and it has Littleman vibes for me. It's like, it has that vibe of, all right, yeah, we did it. We might not plead guilty, but you got us, right? Like, it's time to get arrested. Like, let's just have a good time with this. Like, you know? I like that instead of the like, is there any way I can skip medical so that we can just move on with our lives? Chains knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
I wanted to say shit
so.
I wanted to say some offhanded shit so bad.
I think we were. It went so quiet there, and then all of us were just like, "We're not doing it. We're not getting into this. We're not gonna do it." Yeah. They're really good guys though.
That's good.
Cooper, Willie, and most of the Hidden.
I'm looking at the Hidden wiki now. You know, you're linked on there as Hidden PD.
Yeah, as Pike too, which means if I join them, I'm gonna have to go a lot fucking harder on them as Spirit.
Yeah,
I won't be able to be Hidden PD anymore.
If you made a Crim and you had to be in a gang, which gang would you be in?
Shit. I have to be in a gang.
Well, this guy's already in several gangs. He's in the Blocks. Lawyer gang. He's in the Littlemans.
Wait, Kinky's got a block?
Lawyer block. His Gil.
Yeah,
Block would just quote unquote kidnap him, and they would just be riding around. And then
wait, no, you're in the Dans. That's right. It's not the Blocks. You're Fingil Dan.
Oh, Fingil Dan.
Dude, honestly, all of the time that I had with the Dans was so good. I miss that time, and I miss being able to like roll with them. But I understand like Chief wanted like a different change of pace with PD stuff that he kind of got like almost forced into, but also it was like almost overwhelming for him. Like every time he logged on to Fingal, there would be like a queue of people that wanted to like RP with him as the dance, and sometimes he just couldn't get up to the solo nonsense that he was used to.
Mm-hmm.
That's the Littlemans now. That is literally the Littlemans. Like I'm not gonna lie. I love it when people come around and hang out with us as Littlemans. We get like such a diverse crew of Littlemans. It's always fun. But I feel like we're lost right now. We don't have a goal at all. We've never really had a goal, but it feels like we are just grasping. We are trying to cling on to something that is like a dying breed on the server, right?
Well, you're trying to like, don't let me talk for you, but you're trying to be original, right? And that's part of like what the Littlemans did is they did a bunch of it, but you can only do original things for so long until you're just repeating yourself, like you're like okay, what if we take a jumbo jet this time and then grab 3 cops?
Yes. Yeah, that's the thing. And lately it's just been a lot of us doing shit with the Cubans because they've just resonated with what we do, right? Just
the same mindset.
Chaos.
Dumb shit. Well, I have to appreciate guys like that. That was one thing that really made me upset about Fingal becoming a cop, was that he was one of my favorite people ever to chase, get in pursuits with, because it's going to be a good time. You might get shot, but you just never know what you're going to expect. It was just like it was that same chaos, that same mindset that you get. I feel like on the Littlemans, we're in a rough spot finding our place. I think when we did the dispatch stuff, it was good. We kind of like opened the door for more people to have a little bit more personality on the radio. Shortly after we did it, guys like Theo, whatever his name is, Theodore Roosevelt, Tinkerbell, what the fuck his name is, the dispatch guy from SDSO.
Oh, Theo, yeah, I know who you're talking.
He just had more personality, right? Like you could see it, you could hear it on the radio. 2 days ago, it was yesterday actually, at Dark, I was around for early shift 1 and Dark was on dispatch, and I was like, he is resonating like the same vibes we gave off when we were doing it as Littlemans, right? I went and I talked to Lovesick about it too. It's just like a comfort thing, and I think Miles and I felt very comfortable being on dispatch. 1, because we had no repercussions as Littlemans, but 2, we also had like a knowledge of things, right? And we'd always give our 10 codes wrong. We'd add 10 to every 10 code.
That's great.
We need 62s over here. We got a 57. That's why they're called 10 codes, right?
That's great. When I play Crim, which I think has been I usually I will come on Mondays when I know you guys get on Littlemans, but I don't always come on Thursdays because I don't want to I don't want it to be assumptive that I'm going to come and just be around. I want you guys to be able to do your own thing, right? And I try really hard to not take up space.
What is our own thing, though, is the thing.
Well, yeah,
what is that at this point?
You and Miles have like crazy chemistry on the Littleman, right? You guys have like you don't need to talk about what you're going to do before you figure it out. And I feel like sometimes when other Littlemans join, it's funny and it's great and it's a good time, but sometimes they just don't. This is me included. They don't have the same flow or the same vibe that you guys are like giving off. And so it can turn a little more chaotic. You guys can get a little frustrated because things aren't happening quite the way that you were hoping they would. Even if it's not planned, it's just like you have an idea of how things are going to go. Even if you haven't realized what those ideas yet are, your brain is already like going down the line of what's happening. So like when we were doing the quiz thing in Legion Square, I think you were actually getting a little frustrated. Like when like people kept punching each other and going down and you were just like, okay, can we just please finish this? What should I don't want
everybody to be stuck there. Yeah. I think I wouldn't say it was frustration. It was just like everybody there was at the point where it was like one punch. Everybody had
I was going down to a shoe. From full health, a shoe would kill me.
And that adds credence to like what I've been saying too, where we've been kind of stuck, and it's like literally for an like the last hour, maybe hour and a half of one of our Littleman sessions recently, it was James Randall, me and Jim, and Riv and another EMS, because the EMS had to be there because we were finding things that you could stand next to and get in your wheelchair and body
Launched,
launched, like get
yeah.
ragdolled. So we were constantly getting down. I don't think I've ever gone down so much. I don't think Mr. Space Boy's ever gone down that much. And he's like that's his character trait, is that he just goes down constantly. I lost $3,000 from being revived. From being revived. Yeah, it was nuts. It was probably more than that, because I think I got cleaned out.
That's too funny.
That was really, it was good, because it just felt like stupid SPS. We weren't interrupting anyone's role play. We were just finding things, that launch does.
Do you want a RP spoiler?
Yeah.
For Crim?
Yeah.
I've been logging on every time I remember, which is like 2 or 3 times to go buy a gun.
Yeah.
But every time I do it, I walk up to somebody and I go, hey, can I have $290? I need to go buy a gun for my brothers, the Littlemans. I have all these guns, but no money. And so somebody's saying, like, how many guns do you have? And I was like, oh, I don't know, like 16. And they were like, how about you just give me all those guns? And I was like, I don't want to do that. And then they pulled a shotgun out and were like, give me all your guns. And I was like, all right.
Sorry, go into the apartments, get your guns.
No, I had them on me.
Fucking rob you with
I was like, I
20
have this
guns.
one, I have this one, I have this one. I have
You're
a wide
so
body.
stupid.
I wasn't streaming either, because if I remember, I'll just log on real quick and go grab one and then come back. But I didn't want it. I didn't want it to be like. I didn't want it to be like meta, like power gaming buying guns, right? I wanted there to be like something, and so I just happened to fucking run into one guy who was like, "Give me all those guns," like. And I was like, my brother's not gonna be happy. Do you know who my father is? They were like, I don't give a shit.
Very, very early in Littleman stuff, we met this guy, One Tab Bingus, who plays I think he's an ex-Vagos. He might be a Seaside member now. Can't remember his name. You guys recognize him as Cops because he's a shitlord, but he played Carl Allen. And Carl Allen was the yes man. Is this character that would say yes to everything. It was like, hey, did you just commit murder? Yeah, I did. Right? Like, and so much so that there was this one time where we all got shot at the pier, and I asked him, I was like, hey man, are you all right? And he goes, yeah, I'm all right. And I was like, are you sure you don't have any internal bleeding or anything like that? And he goes, oh yeah, I do. It was just like you could make him roleplay different ways by just asking him like yes or no questions. He had a gun license, and we'd always call him the Ghost Carl Allen, because cops would hyper focus on us and he would just run off in another direction, right, and get away. And he kept his gun license. He still has it, so he buys guns like all the time, but he never comes around. So this one time he's like, yo, I got like a dozen guns. All right, I got them. I put them in a dumpster. They're nearby. Let's go get them. We go to the dumpster to get the guns. Jim and I are stoked. It's like before like class 2s are like a major thing in the city. I think maybe the Uzi had just been introduced. It was like, it's just, we're like, yes, a gun. It's the key to everything in the city. You can get anything you want, right? All you got to do is aim a gun at somebody. We get to the dumpster. He had 12 guns. Every single one of them was broken. All guns. So he wasn't wrong. He wasn't innately wrong. Yeah, he did have 12 guns. But just none of them were fucking useful.
That's so funny.
I miss him. I can't remember who he plays. It's an ex-Vagos, Seaside guy.
I think I know Bodie, I think.
Yeah, it's Bodie Mac. Yeah.
That's it, Bodie Mac.
I just posted the gif of John Hydra swimming in the Discord.
Oh, so good. It's so good.
This is like a Twitterable gif too. You can post that if you want, Troms.
A Twitterable gif?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's small
you
enough you
just
could put it on
swimming
Twitter.
around me. My tugboat in the background and everything. That's great. That's good. Guys, GIF in the show notes. Guys, GIF will be in the show notes. That's good. Kinky, what's your what are your opinions on on Cobb. You've moved up the ranks pretty
Yeah.
freaking quickly, but I want to know like your opinion as somebody who's like above us.
What do you mean, like
I
opinion
don't know,
on
like
like?
you get to see some of the shit that's like kind of in the back end, and like, do you think PD is going down a good path right now, especially with a lot of like the changes that have been made lately, the delayed 13 alpha, the 78s button, the tackle removal? Like, how do you feel about Cobb at this point in time?
For tackle removal is like the only one that I think I have like an issue with. I think everything else I'm perfectly fine with the changes, and it's just like whatever, get used to it kind of thing. Everyone fucking hates having change, of course, though.
I have a question. Couldn't they have just said don't tackle?
No,
No,
no.
no. It's
No.
only to just get abused. I wish we still had tackle because it's such a funny little like.
Last episode,
tool.
I said that I like show affection on John Hydra through tackling, right?
Yes,
Like that's
so many people do, yeah. But I think PD's moving in like the right direction. I'm like dooming it up on like the OOC IC side of like LSPD command at the moment, and like I think it's sad to see the limit of like 80 down to 40 of PD slots, because right now I'd say like PD RP is like some of like the most enthralling like
yeah.
RP that there is at the
Mhm.
moment. Like just like characters interacting with each other, the stories that they have going on, just like the interactions and internal conflict. And as long as like people keep internal conflict like purely IC,
Mhm.
then it's really fucking interesting. Like that's the reason why I love being able to uh like beef with Medi so much, is that like I've got such like a history with him from Armor to me and Gil and Nino back in the day to like now, that we can kind of like, I know that he's sounds like heated as fuck, but he's never like serious in the situation. It's so fucking nice to RP with him like that, and then like being able to like gaslight him that I'm like a long time supporter of everything he's doing. And PD RP is great, and I wish that they kind of tested it to like maybe 60 slots instead of like cutting it straight down to 40.
Why did they
But
lower it to 40?
fuck knows. Well, I guess like in a city of like 200 people, and then like just under half are PD, it can feel
Yeah.
like kind of swarming, but
It's literally 1/3 of the server was cops. Yeah.
so, but yeah, no, it's like just under a quarter. I can kind of see how that makes sense.
Well, right now there's only 18.
Yeah.
18 cops
Dude,
right now.
There was 9 on yesterday, and there was a Mike Block situation, and it was like half of them were cadets or like the cops who were kind of like slightly slower. And fuck, man, we were getting like picked left, right, and center. Like, and Bloom got fucking stabbed instantly. All of like
course.
cadets, like Frost is getting killed, Ruger's getting killed. So it's like me, like basically taking care of like 3 cadets, all of them not knowing what to do.
Oh no.
That was so frustrating as shit. But
I think the change was because we've hired so many people who don't have regular prio. And I think it's to limit how many people get in, because they put an actual cap on the cop queue. Right?
yeah,
And the number of people like currently using cop queue is capped at whatever it is. I don't know. And so I really think it's to remove the idea that you can just become a cop and you'll have prio, right? Like you'll be able to get on the server all the time.
When did becoming a cop become easy?
Right. Well, for some people, apparently it's not like we had it. I mean, we were out there role playing and actually getting it, where some people with like a 30,000 state ID or
Like, how is Dewey
you
Dangle
know,
not a fucking cop yet? He literally saved cops' lives yesterday. Like, this guy's role playing his heart out.
here's the thing: it's just like there was basically like a turn of it goes in like a constant cycle when it comes to like OOC and IC, like RP of how it's going, was that we wanted to hire people who we thought would be like valuable to the limited slots that they had. Then it went to, okay, shit, that was like hiring like both the morale cops and like the cops who were like straight edge good at what they were doing. Then it was just like, holy shit, we need more cops because we're not hiring at an intake fast enough for like server progression. So
Yep.
hire as many people as possible. And now we're at a point where we're like, shit, we have too many people, and the teaching is getting like kind of rough that people aren't progressing well, or they're being pushed too early to full officer. Reel it back and now lower the amount of that we have and start going for like the great role players or like the really straight edge cops again. And it's just like a constant cycle of that we'll never get out of.
Dude, I don't want to. I'm not gonna call this guy out, but I was in a situation on John Hydra where we had to enter a building, like a owned building, because of a situation. And I was like, all right, when we go in, we're gonna announce ourselves. I'll go left, you go right. And he's like, we can't go in. We need a warrant. I was like, we don't need a warrant. He's like, no, we have to get a warrant. It's a private business. I was like, the people versus Auto Delmar. We don't need a warrant. And he was like, what are you saying? And I was like, the people versus Auto Delmar. We don't need a warrant. And he's like, I don't know what that means. I'm like, okay, listen, we're going in. Okay, he's a full officer. I'm a cadet, by the way. I said, we're going in. If there's any backlash, I'll handle it. And he goes, I'm not putting my job on the line for you. And he leaves.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
that's insane.
Yeah.
That's insane.
I've got a question concerning that case law. I've had instances where say you get a report that, example here, Rooster's Rest has a deadly weapon sighting inside.
Okay. Is this a local 411 or is this somebody 911ing in?
Let's say it's a local. Let's say it's a local.
All right. So a local is not enough to go into a private business.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like a single dispatch call isn't enough to breach like a private business or
If you get a
holding.
911 call, if you personally hear something, if somebody runs out and they say that there's something happening, and
Then you can go.
you can kind of cheat the rules too. You can go like, I'm gonna go grab lunch, right? And you're like, oh, there's a weapons call in there. I'm gonna go get lunch. You can kind of do that. That's risky business, but you could argue
walk
it
into
in
this
court.
public establishment.
Yeah, let me walk freely into this public establishment. Oh no, somebody has a gun. Now you can do your job, right?
All right. So, like player testimony. If it comes from player testimony, then you can. Okay.
Correct.
Yeah, like even like a 911 anonymous, like help. There's some guy with a gun in here.
Or if you hear gunshots, or even if you can actually, on the outside, you can actually pull out your flashlight, and if you see like blood, that would be enough. I would call that enough. I think any judge would go, okay, you saw blood outside, that gives you enough. Like,
Yeah, like I was
Actually,
one
that
of
evidence,
the
though.
I was one of the junior attorneys on the people versus Auto Delmar thing, and that was just like basically what happened with that was they were inside the casino just like blasting coke and shooting their guns at the walls and shit like that. And then there was like a call of like a 47 or some shit like that, or like a person with a gun. I can't remember the fucking 10 code for it. And then so they just like breached in, and that turned into like some massive like drawn out shootout while everyone was on coke and like hiding in random parts of like the secret corridors that the casino penthouse has.
I remember watching some of that. I'm pretty sure that they ended up walking away too, because what happened? They shot everybody, and they're like, "Shit, we're trapped in here. How do we get out?" So they all went to the bathroom, the big water wall, and they did /me wash his hands.
yeah,
And like washed their hands and scrubbed their hands, and then literally walked out of the casino, right? And they got detained, and they're like, "Oh, what's going on? What's going on? What's going on?" And, you know, they're like, "All right, GSR test these guys." They GSR tested them, and it's like /me has washed hands,
That
GSR negative.
That's not how it works. GSR is like
That's how it worked. They ended up getting away. They ended up just being let go.
You can actually wipe GSR off your hands. It's just powder. Gunshot residue is just might.
No, but
powder.
okay, no, but the way it works, you shoot the gun, the residue doesn't just go on your hands. You could minus
goes
one
all
them.
over you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless they.
But
had
the
a
thing is,
full-
we role play that we're taking it from like your dominant hand or something, like the hand you would shoot with, where it would
if
be
you were a
most
W
prominent.
cop.
If I recall, because
Not gonna
I have like weird laser memory for RP. They actually went to the roof and got in the jacuzzis.
Oh, okay. Were they fully
like,
submerged?
physically wash their hands.
Yeah, so can I talk about GSR for a second? This is kind of like a long stanky leg thing. My first goal as stanky leg was I wanted to make a solution that
Yeah, you want to make the cleaning kits.
GSR. I had like a 4-page document of research full of pictures and photos on his phone with like the this is back when you had laptops to do hacking. I was like, this requires red laptop to access. So it was basically if a cop finds it, I would RP that they have to get a red laptop and then they could get in there. And it was so cool. And I only shared it with a couple people. And everybody I shared was like, this is such a cool idea. We're definitely going to help make this happen. And then it just kept going nowhere. And that was like one of my biggest downfalls on Stanky Legs. I didn't want to just play like a criminal or a smart criminal. I wanted to make things. I wanted to be an inventor. I really wanted like somebody to go, hey, we see all the work that you're putting in. We trust you enough to like give you a small table to like make things, right? Even if it's just this one thing. Like, imagine having a thing you could use to clean off GSR. How sick would that be? And what if it even, what if it even said person smells like fresh oranges instead of like has GSR? Imagine you go to GSR Summit and you go, this person smells like oranges. You're like, what the fuck?
It'd be so cool, but it's just like one of those things where it in the city is like such a like a neat tool like that can also have like the fear of like I guess overuse as well. And
yeah,
then
that's where like I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's just like it's like the same idea with like people who like make grenades and rockets and shit like that. Like I really wish that grenades and other explosives were just something that was like limited to make RP situations far more impactful, so that they were like you knew if you're using that in a situation, it's like fucking big.
Yeah, we never got to see the Talon rocket launcher, and it feels so bad because other people got it, and then Lang was like, "This is fucking stupid. I'm not doing it."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my idea with Stanky Leg was from the beginning was even in the like the notes that I had, it was like this would be an incredibly valuable substance and would only be sold to the most dedicated and trusted groups for extremely high value. It would basically be for like we're doing a really important job and we can't get caught and we need something cool. We need a plan. Stanky Leg was only going to sell it to people. He's going to like outline your plan for me. Tell me how you're going to use this. If I don't like it, I'm not selling it to you.
That was like your work with like Pegasus probably would have been like the best route for it. Like the Pegasus guys doing like the security industry, and on the side half of them were like psychos that were just like killing off random people that like crossed them. That like a kit that would remove like GSR or like clean up scenes like that would have been the best thing. But
it was so just disheartening. And every time I would talk to somebody, they go like, that's basically people would pull me aside and say, just stop trying because it's not going to happen. And I was just like, dude, like whatever. I even made like a market item that was called like it was based on a real world thing. There's an actual, because gunpowder has like heavy metals in it. So you actually have at gun ranges, you have stuff to clean your hands after you do a long day of shooting, so you don't get heavy metal toxicity. So it was based on that. I made an item, and I told people that like trust like people in like a gang. I think I was working with the they called them the Condensed Milk Club up north in Polito because nobody liked them, even though they were really good up here. The
Condemned MC.
Yeah. And I gave them, I was like, here's this, it's going to eventually be this thing. And I trust you guys and I think it'll be cool. Somebody actually reached out to me on Discord and was like, we're taking this item away because you can't have something that gets rid of GSR. And I was like, but it's just a bandage. This is like a precursor to an RP. And he goes like, yeah, but it's not going to happen. And I'm like, all right, dude, like whatever. And that was,
it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
Stop.
Because it's like, thanks for all your RP, fuck off. I'm like, okay, dude, all right. And it was just stuff like that. I just felt like Stanky Leg just got shut down. I was trying so hard to be creative and go outside the box, and I would put so much like energy into creating something, and it would just get shit on.
It was like the same shit with I think it was Moses who had like was it Moses or was it Patar? It was so long ago now. It was like early 3.0, when they were always like hanging around with each other before like Mandem and all of that. And they had the idea of like gas stations having like fuel, and then there being a different type of fuel which would be better for your vehicle.
Yeah,
was
Shiv.
Shivy?
Yeah, Shiv.
Yeah, Shivy
Holy
was
fuck.
putting out petitions for that. I remember signing
The
it
high
early. It
octane
was
Holy
weird.
fuel. He
fuck,
even like
yes.
he like
Oh.
did he had like a graph about like if you go this speed with the extra fuel, it'll make your car break down this much faster. And I was like, oh, this is so sick.
And yeah, he was like role playing like he was the owner of like Strawberry gas station, and
Yep, before
it's,
Xmart became a thing.
yeah, and now like I feel like he's just getting like yeah, whatever. Shivvy's moved on to do fucking his other things as well, so it's not like it's
Right.
like a huge thorn in his
It's-
side. But
The exact same thing though is now they've got fuel types, right? Like we only see one fuel type, like 89 octane
But they
or
definitely
whatever
have high
in the
octane
gas.
fuel.
Yeah, but there's gotta be like coming at least in the works other fuel, right? That affects the performance of your car.
yeah, like it's coming, and I feel so bad because he like had this huge plan for it. Like he put in like petitions with like Andy at the time, who was the mayor, and to like it obviously gave someone an idea, and they've been working on it for who knows how fucking long. But the fact that he's like nowhere near interested in doing that anymore, and then the people that own the gas stations are probably going to get it.
Yep.
Like, I guess he's got UK Oil, which he's part of with Mandem, but fuck.
Can I make a small Mandem complaint?
No.
Okay. So, what do you guys think? No, I'm just kidding. Dude, I asked a couple people on Stanky. Like, I logged in the other day and I saw Patar, and we started talking. And he's like, "Oh my God, Stanky, it's so good to see you, my friend. How have you been?" And I was like, "Good, good. I'm back. I'm really like trying to be serious about being back in the city, and I really like was looking for some people that knew me to like maybe like let me start getting serious about some gang shit." And he was like, "Oh, that's cool. What gang?" And I was like, well, the one gang that I was, basically with from the beginning, the guys that I would always roll around with, and me and the leader of the gang, had like a long thing, and we're like, cool." And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're probably not looking for people right now." And I was like,
Oh,
all right. And then I haven't logged back onto him since. I think I should need to delete Stanky. Like, I just take everything too personally on him.
No.
Well,
You're not doing it.
I get in that headspace too, but I've learned to counteract it by setting two pillars.
Yeah, hit me.
of
Give me the
etiquette.
knowledge.
One is never try too hard. Don't try harder than the people that you're engaging with.
Okay.
Don't put in more effort in them, because that's one way to get yourself burned out. And two is just do your own thing. And that's what I've been doing, and I've been coasting.
Fuck yeah. Okay.
But in the beginning of 3.0, I'm gonna be honest, I was trying to get into the whole casino crowd because I was adamant on being in the casino in its inception when it was being made into a mechanic added into the server.
That's how a lot
And
of
it didn't
people know
happen.
you.
Yeah, it didn't happen because I chose a really poor time to take a break, and I missed the interview phase and everything. But yeah, ever since then, I've just been free bowling pretty much. Not getting too invested in anything. It's easy to say, but hard to execute. I'll be honest.
Yeah. You do good though. As you really do seem unflappable. You know what I mean? Like, you really do seem like nothing can get to you when you're RPing. Partly, I think it's because you really go above and beyond to play a character.
I agree. I mean, even some of the stuff I hear you say on like scenes, it's funny. It's a character. Some of it is rather serious, but just like having the balls to say anything, a lot of people don't. And I truly feel like Command must have had a discussion where they went, "Do we fire this guy because he's just gonna do this constantly?" And then somebody was like, "No, that role play is too good." They probably didn't say this, but without saying it, they said he can get away with anything. Just let him go until he does something absolutely terrible, like the worst possible thing a human could do.
And
Like
now
a
he's like
cone or something like
he's like a
that.
staple now. Like, we expect it. It's normal.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's it.
Like
Max,
I love that.
Max was around for the. It wasn't the interview. It was the onboarding, I think.
uh-huh,
What was your initial opinion? What was your initial opinion for my character? You think he'd make it in the PD?
I got a feeling that I knew that you weren't gonna like be like the most serious, and you were always gonna like commit to the bit of being like, I guess, like insubordinate and kind of like taking the piss half the time. I thought it was interesting because I wanted to see how it goes, and like you the fact that like I would tell you to do something and then you'd immediately talk shit afterwards was like it's great. I love seeing characters like that, and it's nice to be able to like, because obviously I have to RP as like fucking serious 24/7 because that's kind of who I built
Yeah, you
with
kind of cornered
Meg.
yourself into it.
Yeah, I cornered myself into that, and I don't think I'd change that unless I made like a new character or I changed departments. But um, I like being able to like see Carmine as like a detriment to like the PD, but also know that it's like a hilarious character to have around sometimes. Like there's definitely like uh a pure protection on like you being able to fuck around without anyone like getting rid, and it'd be a fucking travesty to get rid of the character from PD. It's like the interactions with you before, from seeing you when you were like working like the desk of security and shit at the casino, uh like that kind of like introduction says enough about what you were like.
That was a long. I used to sit at that desk for fucking hours, just waiting for people to come in so I could
Just
talk shit.
please RP with me. You wouldn't even stream because you would just be sitting there.
Yeah, it was. I'm gonna be honest. If I didn't get caught, I probably wouldn't be on the server. I'd probably be playing on Wild RP or
Yeah.
something.
Which you'd be, I mean, you do sometimes, and you crush. People love watching you do wild RP. I really do. When you guys, next time you guys get on, just shoot me a message if I'm free. I'll hop on. That sounds really fun.
I
Yeah.
have to apply. I really do.
You-
I've just-
Why? You
I haven't
need
bought
to,
the
man.
game. I have it. I've never played Red Dead.
I've never played Red
Dead.
Dead. I've only played Wild RP and Wild West RP.
Like
Dude, I gotta get on.
use fucking Miles and Moose
Mm-hmm.
are like the hardest fucking people to like convince. I had to like basically bully Moose Brother into applying to Wild RP, and then he quietly did it, and I saw him in the server. And he hasn't gone on to the server yet. He's accepted and whitelisted, and he just hasn't played.
That's
I
like
just
me.
really want to
I
see
just
more
don't
people
want to do
come over.
the application process. You know, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure I'll get in. It's just
pay
like
someone on
I just
Fiverr
don't want
to
to
do
do
it.
it.
No. The
Relevant, relevant humor. Love it.
the interview process is fucking hilarious as well.
Are they still
you
doing
eat-
live interviews now?
Yeah, they're still
Yeah.
doing live interviews.
Well, kind of told me about it. He just said it wasn't that difficult. I
Yeah.
just don't want to have somebody judge me again. I already went through that anxiety in 2019 applying for Nopixel.
This man's experienced anxiety once in 4 years.
Oh God, I just couldn't stand it. It was too much for me.
Canada must be
Actually,
great.
you know, not gonna lie, I got into fuck, what was the other roleplay server? I was on another whitelisted roleplay server. I got in on that first application as well. So
I've never.
no, I don't want to break my streak.
I've never not gotten in on my first application on an RP server.
I can't do it. I can't break my streak.
Just don't break
break
it.
the
Just do good.
I think
Oh,
you'll get
okay.
in pretty easy for Wild RP. The as long as you like act like a human within like the written part of like the Wild RP in this section, when it gets to like the actual vocal part, all it is just like you either get grilled and you can kind of tell that they're just asking you the questions, or there's like half questions and half you having conversation with the staff and
Yeah, mine
just
was
about random
literally.
shit.
I don't remember what her name was, but I got interviewed by somebody, and we were just like laughing and joking. She's like, "All right, as part of the interview, I have to ask you to role play. I'm gonna give you a role. Go." And I was like, and I just did something goofy just off the top of my head, and she was like, "That is some wild shit. Like that was very funny." And I was like, "Yeah, thanks. I'm pretty funny."
Yeah, I was with is it one of the like the management for the question box, and she's so nice.
I think we got interviewed by the same person. She's super funny. Yeah.
Yeah, like she's like got quite like a thick southern accent, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I felt so bad going. Like you at least like have like you're in the same sphere of America where you can kind of do the accent. I fucking going over there, and they were like, okay, now here's the role play section, and I have like the two most like southern management, like with this long
Like,
Texas
okay.
drawl.
So tell us about your character. And you're like,
And
"Oh well,
Oi, bruv.
let me tell you about my character."
like then I RP a voice of like a fucking southern American.
Oh, can I hear your southern? Can I hear your southern accent?
Yeah,
You
let's
can-
hear it.
In Jesus Christ, I can't remember what I do. Like, it's like Gil, so it's like the I don't understand what you're saying, but
Oh my god, that's
it's
so
like the-
good. What the fuck?
I've been role playing this character for like another two 2 years now, so.
What
But
the
it's like
fuck
that
is
weird, like,
happening right now? That's
it's like that
so
weird.
good.
What's the trail in America that goes like
Oregon
along
Trail.
No, not that
Those the
one. Like
Ozarks?
no, it's like along Virginia and like south and stuff like that. It's like those fucking mountain people. That's like the kind of voice I wanted to do.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's the place where everybody thinks all the skinwalkers are.
Yeah. But then I wanted to do that and then like a gruff voice, but the gruff voice fucking kills me. I can't do it seriously. I'd have to be like fucking Suarez where I put like on a voice changer to save myself from killing myself 24/7. But doing that voice around them and then like they're like, yeah, that was pretty good. I'm just like, oh, Jesus. I feel like I've like fucking bullied you fucking actual Southern American.
I think the only voice that I can do is like the I'm a real hillbilly.
My
I know what to do out there in the woods.
when I do
You
the
shoot
John
the bears.
when I do the John Hydra accent, I just talk like people from West Texas because I grew up there, partly. But I feel like sometimes like I don't I stop doing the accent quite as much, and I'm just talking as like a weird version of myself. So I've been trying to like talk out of the side of my mouth more when I'm playing John. Gotta be more way down here. It's John Hydra. How's it going, everybody? But then people are like, "What voice are you doing?" And I'm like, "God damn it!" They're like, "John, why are you talking weird?" I'm like, "Fuck."
It's like when fuck, what's his name? Why am I blanking on this?
Garrick?
No.
Did you just say a random name?
No,
Holy shit.
Gary?
No,
So
Garrick.
Gary? You talking about Gary?
You know who Garrick is, right?
Yeah, I know
One
who
of the
Garrick
nerds.
is.
He had to change his voice because the character voice was hurting his throat really bad, and so Stanky like shot him in the throat to give him a RP reason to talk different.
I was thinking. Yeah, I forgot about that. His like voice was actually getting fucked up
Yeah.
from doing that.
Wait, from doing
From doing the cleric
my God.
voice.
The like cleric croaky kind of voice that he had before.
Hi, Stinky.
Hello, Sir Captain.
Do you guys know if Stinky like wrote okay, so Stinky like got into a situation wherein he had to get into a shootout with all of the clean boys, and he wrote a song called The Cleric to apologize and never released it because I got embarrassed. That's my story.
Wow.
I remember
Release-
that shootout.
Release the music. Sorry, go ahead, 52.
Were you saying 50?
Oh no. I remember that shootout. I remember I saw that shootout. It was pretty
Wait,
cool.
Shootout? You mean when he shot out his voice box?
That and bush camping. He was doing a lot of bush camping.
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Lang was like, that guy's crazy. He's a fucking ninja. It was pretty cool. I had a bunch of people. And then I was happy when I went back and Lang killed me and I wasn't mauling and people were like, this guy's a cool RPer. And then they never came back.
What? Okay. This, you just reminded me of something. I want to know what your guys' biggest RP fail was. And besides, like, accidentally saying something that you meant to say to your stream through your mic or something like that, because I've done that plenty of times. In fact, I once called an entire helicopter full of people chat by accident. I want to know your guys' best RP fails because I have one and I still think it's so
Can you
funny.
lead
And I
with
didn't think it
yours?
was a
'Cause I need to
fail at the
think.
time. But I look back, on this moment. Jewels and gems had just been introduced to the server,
Okay.
and we found out that you could get them from fishing, right? And it was like must have been like the day of or the day after, and we found one, and we were trying to figure out what to do with them. We were like, where can we take these? What can we do? The VLC was now a location on the map, so we thought maybe it had something to do with the VLC because it was like a diamond logo. I worked for the Rooster at the time, and so I brought it to Lang, and he's like, "Oh, you got one of the gems? Okay, send me a picture of it." So I didn't realize at the time that you didn't need the gems table. You could click on them, and it would show you the rotating gem, like how they see it at VLC now when they use like the gem table. I didn't realize you could actually take a look at it. So I sent him a picture of the icon in my inventory, just of the gem, which at the time it didn't even have like a jade icon. It was literally just like a diamond. And I fucking texted him a picture of it, like it was literally just like the tiny little picture of a diamond. And I was like, oh, he wanted me to actually look at it with my eyeballs and like use it and take a picture of that and send it to him.
Jeez.
That's too funny.
Dude, I still look back on it. I was like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot.
I have like a this is so embarrassing, dude. I don't remember exactly what I was typing, but I was playing I think Beverly Claymore Hindenburg Waldorf when I was trying to do the Prune Gang takeover in 2.0. And I was like in a war with Mel. And I'd been shot and I typed something. It happened to be like really embarrassing out of context. It was something about like me start like slash me starts getting emotional. Like that tears start welling up and you can tell this is close to the end or something. But I accidentally typed /OOC. I don't know fucking why. And so I was this like weird RP. And everybody fucking roasted me. Oh god, it's so embarrassing.
That's funny.
Oh no, dude.
Oh, you guys, 52.
I don't think I've had any embarrassing moments because I'm just that guy, I guess. Have nothing over here. What about you, Kinkyhobo?
I remember once
guy.
when I was interacting with fucking Nino as Gil, I couldn't think of like the word to I think I was trying to say PR, like what's your like PR thing for the company Pegasus?
Like public relations, like
yeah, like what's the like the output that you want the company to even look like for Pegasus, like the security thing. And then I said to him like, what's the RP direction you're looking for with Pegasus? And he was just like, RP direction? Is this a one of those conversations? I was like, no. Yeah, I just felt so bad. I didn't stream at all back then, and I didn't really watch like Medi all that much. I didn't know that he had like a huge fucking viewership. I was just like, I felt so bad. Like I was questioning what he wanted to do OOC with Pegasus for in front of fucking like thousands of people. I felt like such a fucking fool.
Idiot.
My man.
I didn't realize until somebody told us on this podcast that Medi is Lyric's brother or something.
Yeah.
I had no fucking idea.
Yeah.
Wait, L-I-R-I-K lyric?
Yeah.
Yeah, Lirik. Yeah.
Whoa, I see the resemblance now. That's crazy.
Right?
I'm sure Medi's his older brother?
I don't know.
I don't know, whatever.
Whoa, I'm putting two and two together. Everything's connecting in my brain right now.
Weird,
It's just
right?
like insane that they didn't really like RP all that much together back when Lyric was on Nopixel as well. Like it is neat that they kind of avoided each other but still had crossover.
Dude, I genuinely love Medi's character. Brian Knight is such an interesting and I think important character. I think he like people really can be affected by him, right? Somebody was talking shit. I don't know if they're talking shit in character. They were talking shit about like him at the scene that happened last night. About he did something and they're like, everybody knows you should never ever do that. And I just like didn't look into it. Do you know what happened?
Yeah. He took so Stubble was leading the scene, and honestly, Stubble, mad props to him for being the hero who led the scene that nobody wanted to lead. CG, most of them shot down.
Was this the bus
Mr.
situation?
K gets away, kidnaps a bus full of people, says, "I will kill them if I don't get my boys back." Hides the bus somewhere, doesn't tell him where he is. Says, "I want proof that like my boys are free, and then I'll release these hostages, or I'm gonna kill them." Stubble is doing everything he can. Like he's being pulled in every direction. He wants, Miles is an excellent role player. He wants the best for everybody. There's no right answer.
Yeah, in RP,
he can't give them up because of SOPs. It's literally cop SOP to not give in like that. But he also can't let these people die because they're making these threats that are like impossible demands, right? So eventually Medi takes over, Brian Knight, and he says, I'm making the call. We're giving back everybody who hasn't been sent up yet. And he ends up giving them back. I think it was like Eugene and Rami or something like that. They get like mad 30-day warrants, but essentially he made the call to say like, okay, we're going against SOPs to save these people's lives, and we're giving them back.
It's just it's
So
tough
he was being a
because it's
fucking
like,
hero. He was actually like making like a dangerous call. Like,
But of course, people are going to be like, that's not how the cop SOPs are written.
Shut
I
the
saw them
fuck
on stream
up,
once.
man.
it's such a fucking hard call to make, dude. And then like
Good for
that
him,
kind
dude.
of shit. It's exigent circumstances. Like whatever. It's a fucking. You're putting out a 30-day warrant, and these guys get caught every fucking 2 days. It's like it's not gonna change the situation as long as it doesn't become the norm meta of like
Robbie
That's what I'm
will
afraid
lots of
of.
Robbie will
people.
have a 30-day warrant and then drive up to cops going, hey, do I have a warrant? It's like, and then they'll be like, yeah, turn around. He'll be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing this? Like, okay, man. What were you saying, Charles?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, just it was like an impossible decision for anybody but Command to make, right? And then Medi stepping in and saying like, all right, this is what we're doing. We have no choice, right? I think it took a lot of burden off Stubble, because Stubble,
He sounded
he's a
stressed.
sergeant or whatever he is now, sergeant, I guess. He's like, I can't make that decision. I'm not high command, right? Like, you know, the kind of backlash I get for that, right? And he has always been the kind of guy, even on the Littlemans, to very strictly adhere to the rules. Like whatever the written rules are, he's a letter of the law kind of guy, right? And I know he struggled with that decision and what he had to do there, and so I think he was really stressing about it, and I think Medi really saved him, kind of took some of the pressure off of his back.
Yeah, it's calls like that where you need someone who's like fucking seasoned command to make that shit, and is also like, I guess, not gonna receive shit for.
They can defend themselves on an even playing ground with the people who would be like their peers, right? Like Medi can say out of character, like, okay, here's why I had to do it. Like, okay.
Yeah, he can like literally call some of the other high command on their telephones and go, hey, this is the decision I made in character. Like, do you want to talk about it? And they'll be like, no. But if Stubble does it, like, he's going to get it's a whole situation.
Yeah, there's gonna be like doubts casted on Stubble about making these calls. And it's just like, man, yeah, it's just the who you're in with kind of thing.
And
No, Stubble
especially,
wanted them dead. I was there. He wanted them dead. He was talking about how to breach, how to go. I was there. I was ready to shoot for him. But yeah, made the call to. I mean, Brian, my bad, made the call to let him go.
it's so
And
hard. Go ahead, sorry.
The only way I see a call like that making sense is because the alternative to letting people walk away with using a hostage situation with people that are already 95s is that, as Kinky was saying here, it could be used as a crutch, like a new meta of getting your boys out of jail.
Yeah.
The only way to counter that is to triple the fines and triple the times. They can do it, but there's going to be even bigger consequences.
So apparently this is something that Medi was speaking of. Who knows if it'll actually happen, but he was looking at making escaping custody under those circumstances like 1 year. Like you get a 1 year sentence because of it.
That's actually kind of cool. I like that.
But that would be
One
neat. Like
year. And maybe like a huge fine too, like $1 million fine or something.
I don't think the fine even is necessary. I think like the actual time of a year would be good, and then
What's a year in game?
like
1
a
day.
day.
Like a 24-hour
like-
cycle. Okay.
Yeah, I think that would be good. It's just because it allows for the opportunity to do that kind of thing, but then you really have to actually have strong reasoning and a want to do it, knowing that there's actual like huge consequences to it. Then again, that comes with the whole like thing that we were talking about before with like Wild RP and Nopixel, is that there has to be a willingness to accept heavy consequence. And I think that would be like a hard law to push through.
Consequences on Nopixel? Those don't exist.
What,
No,
do you guys
no,
feel like
no.
1 year being 1 day is enough? I almost feel like 1 year should be a week. That feels
No, man.
because when I think about being in prison for a year, like in character. I'm like, oh, it's one day. I'll just play another character. I'll just take the day off. Like then you're done.
Yeah,
But a
but
week is like
that's
now you get to go RP in the prison, and you actually there's like, I just feel like. I know this is like people's jobs and careers and people don't want to watch them be in prison, but dude, if I was like a Rami viewer and he was in prison for a week because he did some wild shit, I think that'd be super interesting.
that's why you have like the sentences of like 5 years. It's like 3 to 5 years, 5 to 10 years, or whatever like that. Like
That's a good
you
call.
get the
All
yeah, like there's the one day
I-
for stuff like this is enough to be like bad, naughty, like slap on the wrist.
I wasn't
But
thinking
then
about
for that,
scaling it up. I wasn't thinking about like 5 years.
yeah, like the hot charge ones where it's like drug trafficking, weapons trafficking, all that shit. Like like you guys know Dean Goldberry.
Nope.
Like, dude, he's got like a parole hearing coming up. Fingers fucking crossed. Guy's been in there for 60 years, 60 days of like being in Bolingbrook because of the attack on the fucking PD prom thing. Which,
Yep.
Oh wait,
let's be
He's
real.
still in there?
Yeah, let's be real. He wasn't
Called
the
me recently.
yeah, he wasn't even the one that did the majority of the attack on fucking PD prom either.
He
was
just said he did because he's a fucking idiot.
Well, yeah,
That's
'cause-
his character is stupid.
Yeah, and now he's getting like fucked over and like people contesting him getting out of Bolingbrook because like I understand like I see Winston losing an arm and shit like that is big heavy, and Dean is like part of the reason it happened, but Dean was just like, you guys aren't gonna get anyone else for this like 60 plus fucking murder rampage. I'll just
Nope.
take the fucking blast from it. And all he did was like throw like a single grenade out of a van, kill no one, and then get blasted to death. The guy's such a funny fucking guy. It's insane
He
that
is.
he doesn't have Prio as well. What? Yeah, he doesn't. He
I
was
saw
buying
him
Prio
all
prior
the
to that.
fucking time. Oh, okay.
I just remembered
Yeah,
who's
dude,
a-
I
Sorry,
love
go ahead.
him. I like that guy a lot.
I haven't got to interact with him.
He's really
Unfortunately.
good. He's one of those guys who will mess with cops, but in like a fun way,
Mhm.
right? Fun, stupid way. And I appreciate anybody like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what else has been in prison for like 90 days is Jaka. I don't think Jaka's trying too hard to get out of prison, but I saw
think
a
he's
tweet
doing
recently.
EMS shit, yeah.
I think I saw a
Jaka-
tweet recently. He's been in there for like 96 days or something.
Chuck is just always a victim, man. Always a fucking
Dude,
victim.
I was watching a Wrangler stream the other day just while I was like playing Lost Ark, and Wrangler convinces a civilian to try to get people to buy materials from
I
a
saw
from
this.
a from a what's it called when you take it to the scrap place and like do it illegally?
So yeah,
From a shop.
Yeah.
And he's trying to get like businesses to buy this so that he can like raid them and like get them. The first person he goes to magically is like, "Oh, I can't sell it to you. Sorry, if it's from doing that." And then he calls like everybody in the yellow page and nobody answers. Finally, he calls Jaka's character, and Jaka's like, "All right, of course, yeah, I'd love to buy." And then the character's like a porn actor, and he's like, "Hello, fellow criminal. Would you like to purchase these illegally obtained materials?" And Jaka was like, "All right, but only $5 instead of 8 per." He's like, "Okay," and sells them. And then when they asked Jaka, he was like, "You know, somebody called me and said not to sell to anybody that's trying to like sell like illegal goods." And then everybody's just like, "Ugh, okay, of course." So all these people magically know not to buy these goods. They refuse to do the RP, and then Jaka does it and gets fucked for it. Like,
Yeah, it's just one of those people willing to actually go into the situation and take it. Like Jughead just like constantly gets like they just always get the hard end of it because they're willing to go along with RP.
yeah.
Bad.
It's weird. It's weird that they're basically like the whipping boy for the crim world. But does Jock even have prio? Do you have prio?
I don't know. See him around all the time.
I see Juck around a lot. I don't think that they buy Pyro. I think that they must have some.
Just confirmed with Jaka, by the way. Pronouns are she, her. We were saying he a bit.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. We didn't know.
It was funny because I saw her outside of MR or the apartments, and she's on her little one character who we never ever met. laying
She
in the
has a little
corner, pretend. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, laying in the corner, pretending they were poor, like begging for money and for food. And we go, Miles and I look at each other like, who are you? And she's just like, I can't remember the name. It was so brief, right? And she goes, oh, I'm poor. I'd love some food. And then she gets up and walks back into the apartments. And like a second later, Tabalt comes out, right? And we kind of like putting two together, like, oh, okay. But just the random like 20-second interaction we had with them, just just laying there on the ground.
Oh, I watched your stream when you did that, Nima. I remember that now. I
We were
remember
just
that.
laying there right outside the apartments. I don't know why. It was good though. It was good fun.
Dude, I remember it's so weird when you have like these characters that like come across as like they try and join like the Dans or like the Littlemans, and you're like trying to piece together who it is without breaking the barrier. And I remember Walnut, back before Walnut blew up with like Tandy and Brick, he came on as the Dans once, and I'm pretty sure his character was called like Bilingual Dan, and he was the fucking like the worst character. He just pretended he knew every language, and we'd be like, say this in this language, and then you'd hear him like quickly get on like Google Translate to figure out what it is, and then say it in like the most broken English ever. And then no one knew who the fuck he was. And then he like permed his character in like 30 minutes because we couldn't figure out who he was. But dude, it's so interesting seeing like people come around and then like just join in, and there's no concept of who they are, and they're playing something entirely different.
We've had one Littleman who came around. He shared the name of another Littleman that had been around, and we couldn't figure it out. We could not put the voice together. Whoever it was wasn't streaming. And we ended up going through this like hour and a half long role play scenario where we're like, Miles and I, we turn away from him and we're whisper talking, right? We're whisper shouting.
I do that all the time. It's great.
Who is this guy? Like, and like trying to figure it out and letting him on the joke too, right? Like we don't know who he is. He's playing another Littleman who has the same name but hasn't been around for a long time. Sounds completely different. It ended up going into where we started to think he might be like a clone or a robot. And then he's like, okay, this would be fun, right? So he's like, he does like /me, you see a blinking red light on the back of his neck or something like that, right? Like it's somewhere in the back of his neck. And we're like, Miles and I were both like, what is that? What is that? You see that? Right? So we ended up taking him to Humane Labs, where we found out that putting water on him made him shut down. And so, meanwhile, he's like acting like a normal human, except for the fact that every once in a while he's like shutting down like an android or something. We ended up throwing him into that little water pit at the bottom of Humane Labs. And like, there was a part where we gave him like a steel pipe and he bent it into a pretzel. Like he was like super strong. And then we convinced him to jump into the water and he just like immediately sank straight down to the bottom. And like we never saw him again after that. But it was like this hour and a half long dream of like, who is this guy who might be impersonating a Littleman? And I swear he did not mean for it to go that way, but he was just like full role play mode. Like, let's do this. It's going to be so fun. If whoever that guy was, please reach out to me if that was you. I don't know who that was, and I want to know. Yeah, so bad.
Great. If you could snap your fingers and give somebody prio, who would it be?
Ooh.
And for
I feel like a lot of people have got it.
So nobody gets salty. This doesn't mean other people don't deserve it, but just off the top of your head.
Mine was Bane, and then he finally got it, which I'm glad. So now I got to think of somebody else new to pressure for prio. I see. The thing is, I don't know who doesn't have it.
So yeah, I guess it's fair.
Yeah, there's so many people that do have it or don't have it that you think do because you see them around so often.
See them all the time. Somebody else would have to go because I don't. I'd have to think about it.
Does Nexera have prio yet?
Yeah, I think he does. He does. Yeah.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
I'd say Chris, the guy who roleplays Dean Galbo.
Nice.
Probably.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one. That's a good choice.
I think Jaka at this point just deserves it. I would snap my fingers right now and make sure she gets it.
It's where she doesn't have.
No.
She doesn't have.
No, I just
Oh
confirmed. Yeah,
fuck.
she does not
Okay.
have prio. Yeah.
Fuck, man.
That's what I'm saying. Is you're exactly right. You think these people have prio because you see them and they put the effort into being here.
Peter, DD Peter or whatever, he just got it too, and I had no idea. I literally had no idea this guy didn't have it, and I was like, "What? I see you literally all the fucking time."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The guy that plays
Ben Peppers.
Dewey Dangle, he deserves it for sure.
That'd be great. Fleener, Johnny Cal Fleener, I'm pretty sure he doesn't have it, but he's just as good as Dewey Dangle. I introduced them to each other yesterday, and they're both big characters. Cherry must have it, right? Or he must pay for prio.
I think Cherry pick because I don't know who.
Prio is a thing.
Yeah, I don't know who else Cherry unless Cherry plays someone else that I'm completely like unaware of.
Right, but he's like been mainlining Cherry lately, which has been great. There's a bunch of cops who just don't have it, who only play cops.
Mm-hmm.
Bobby, maybe?
You know
No,
what?
Bobby has
got-
pro.
One of the reasons that I love
are we
playing
sure? Because I've never seen him on one that isn't a lifer or isn't a cop.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Bobby
No, I think
Boulderman, I mean.
I feel like he has said that he's had prior, maybe, but I might be wrong about that.
I feel like he would have made Bobby Littleman by now or something like that. You know? I'm just,
Can't believe
I'm blanking.
I lost like 13
I'm blanking about
guns.
who has it and who doesn't.
I've got a few. I'd say Fiend Dodo, who plays Booba. I don't know if he has prio, but if he did, he'd probably be doing more FIB shit.
No,
I think he has prio, right?
He does.
He's got
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
he
he has
did
prior.
Booba so long before becoming a cop. He was literally just a walking caveman for the longest time. Who else?
As one of the new people on the server, Marty Malone.
Dude, yeah,
Marty's
Marty
pretty funny.
deserves it.
That guy
Marty,
actually
like-
puts work into like making his character really feel like he's from the 20s or whatever.
Okay, that's who I thought it was.
Marty
Wow.
Malone, and like his character's so fucking good on Wild Up as well, and the fact that he's like brought it across and he still fits in both eras is great.
Burt Lingdon is his Twitch name, I believe.
Yep. And a bunch of Southside people that don't get recognized.
Dude, am I crazy? What has happened with the Bala gang? I feel like I've not seen anybody. Are the Bala still a thing right now? What's happening?
They are, but none of them have prio. It's the same with every Southside crew. MG, Ballers,
Can
Vagos.
I make a Bala and just be the
Yes,
new
Dad.
leader since I have prio?
There you go. Yeah, that's all it takes, just being there.
Okay, I've kind of I don't want to. This is a PR nightmare question. Every leader in the past that I've seen of Ball Gang has been represented by a black character. Have we ever had a non-black Bala leader, and is that okay?
Why does that matter?
Well, I mean, traditionally, like that area, like from the role play, is like a traditionally black gang, right? It's like 90% black. So I just don't want to. I guess I don't want to take away from that by bringing like a white character in, but I also feel awkward about like using a voice changer and playing a black character. Not that I care if people do that, but I don't know if I would do that well, if that makes sense, right? I've done it in the past and if it was fine, but I played a super weird character, so I don't know.
I get what you mean. Like
I don't want to like
same
take
goes
space
for-
up, you know?
The same goes for the Vagos and any like gang that's got like it's built on lore from the game, and the game, you know, Ballers, GSF, they were like it was built off of how the real world is, kinda. I mean, if you had a character in the gang that was, I don't know, role played his way, I wouldn't see it as an issue. No, role play is what you make it to.
That's true.
Yeah, it's like saying if there's like an issue with like fucking Saeed playing Speedy, and like you figure out like Saeed's from fucking Norway and he's like role playing this like Hispanic like small guy. It's just fucking I think it's whatever you make of the RP is perfectly fine.
And the sentiment matters as well. Like if your goal is to make a character stereotypical and you know as a racial slight, then of course it's not gonna go. But if you're doing it justice and you're actually trying to play a real person who just happens to have this ethnic background, and yeah, it all comes down to how it's received.
Yeah, I really wanted to play a native character on Wild RP, but when I told the admin, they were like, "I mean, do you have to?" And I was like, "Well, I guess not. I do it really well, I think."
Oh, fuck, that's who I think would be good with Prio on the server. Fuck, what's his name?
The cop.
No. He's like plays like a DOJ member. He's like a lawyer on one character. He's like a music artist on another that worked at Burger Shot. It's a native guy. And at the moment he's like really heavy on Wild RP, trying to like bring like native people to Wild RP to role play as like native characters to like actually do like
That would be
the
sick.
characters justice. And it's fuck, what's his name? That's gonna bug me. I'll get back to it.
Yeah.
Is it you talking about Yoger? On Twitter and Twitch, his handle is Yoger, something like that.
No, not
Yager,
him.
I think
No,
is the-
not yoga. Fuck. I'll remember it. Pick.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Coil keeps talking about doing a hardcore server. I don't know if he'll end up doing it, but it seems very interesting. I think I'd really like to give it a shot. This is the kind of thing
Me
where like
too,
when
man.
cops get like fucked up, like they have to go off duty. Like,
I might even make a new character for that.
yo, I think that'd be sick.
I feel like Max Stubble, who else? A bunch of cops who play on Nopixel normal now that carry the same vibe as Max over here and Stubble and shit. They should definitely go for hardcore server.
Yeah,
And try and climb the fucking ranks.
True, that would be sick. I was telling somebody after Troms and I got shot by a couple of really tough guys the other day. That was the first time I've ever been shot in my car, like by people. And they were like, "What? How? Like you piss everybody off." And I was like, "Yeah, but I try not to die. Like I try to do things from a position of like tactical advantage so that I don't get murdered." And they were like, "Yeah, but you just go to the hospital." And I was like, But I don't want to die. I hope. Are you hearing me? Are you hearing the words I'm saying? And they're like, "Oh, like you're role playing, right?" Like they can't. They didn't say that, but that was like the meaning, right? They're like,
You're doing a role play. I get it now.
"You're playing a role." I get it. Okay.
This guy's trying. What the heck?
Yeah, dude. So, Kinky, you started with Muller and you worked up the ranks pretty quick. What would be like the end goal? Where would you like to see him? Do you want to see him as captain? Do you want to see him as trooper? What do you want? Like,
I've been memeing that I wanted chief of police, but I don't actually want it. I fucking hate the idea of being chief. It's such like a OC commitment that me not being like a streamer, I just can't fucking commit to that. Plus, I hate the fucking like politics of it, considering like I play the character so that everyone who's like gang affiliated hates Max. Like the intent is to never be on anyone's good side. So and it's just not how the server meta goes. I think captain probably, and then eventually when I get to a comfortable point, I'm probably gonna like perma the character. I don't want him to retire. I want him to die.
yeah, isn't that scary? Because that's like your character, right? Like, I know you're not like a streamer. Like, you don't. It's not what you do for work, but isn't it scary to think about permitting the character that you've been playing for so long? Or how do you feel about that?
I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I like it's always big to have like a connection to your character because then you value so much more about it. But I think like I feel like when I eventually kill him off, it'll do it justice. You know, like
Well, you also won't have to wait 30 days because the last bunch of people who've killed their cops didn't have to wait 30 days. Nathan got a new cop in literally 3 days before he got Walter Christmas or whatever.
yeah, like insta cop.
Yeah, McNulty has his old man cop now, or Moses does.
He has an old man cop.
Oh, he does.
He's got an old man cop, and you'll hear him on the radio, and he was a sheriff for a long time, and he's got 40 plus years of 53 years of experience, I think, and he's currently conducting a on a 1038, and with a this is a newer vehicle. It's got 4 doors, seems to be occupied by a couple of young lads. This is just like his whole character is he just drawls and just keeps talking, and like he's got this old man cop. I can't remember his name, George something.
Which department?
I think it's STSO again.
Yeah, it's gotta be
SPSL.
STSO. Dude, he's basically the new fucking Kaminsky, but older. Just
He's the
Yeah.
Kaminsky to Kaminsky.
Yeah, he's great. He told me about the character one night when we were just chilling, and it's like, okay, I like this. George something. He's got like a triple name, like George G. Georgeson or something.
George Michael Montgomery.
Kinky, I got a question. If you could have picked a department, which department would you have picked? If you could have picked which one you were in.
You did.
I did pick it. So LSPD still, but I reverb this a lot in RP because it's like an OOC sentiment as well. But I think when the STSO started, I really wish I took that like dive into the unknown of joining a department that had like no one backing it, and going through the shit of it being like the meme kind of like department that has now like blossomed into actually like a lot of great fucking cops, but also morale cops on the side. And I wish I'd taken that jump into it. It'd be like now with like this SASP officer bullshit going on, like that's the same jump into the unknown, but I know that I wouldn't commit to that at all. I don't want to be a fucking trooper or anything like that. Just cringe.
Yeah, I think I used to want John Hydra to eventually be a trooper, but now that it's kind of become this like, it used to be like a super cool, unique thing, and now it feels like it's just another department. Maybe.
Yeah, I only respect like the original troopers, not that Carter as well. I think Carter and Underwood are like the two guys that
Carter was so
definitely
happy when he got
it.
full trooper. That was so sick.
But like, man, it's just like Croc going from senior and about to be like suspended from the LSPD to brought into the SASP. It's just like, fuck, man, I respect you, IC, for this.
So yeah, that was I don't know.
It was the Soze mentality. He was putting off the same vibes that like Soze would put off with the take no shit, literally give you a ticket for jaywalking, like hard ass cop.
You know, apparently Sis has like 65 jaywalking infractions or something.
So Carter hit him with possession of a class 1 for having a sawn off recently, and he's like, Carter hit me with class 1 for the shotgun, so it's a class 1, right? And I was like, no, it's still class 2. It's a small class 2. He's like, no, look at my last report. So I pulled up his report. And over the last like 3 months, he has been harassed so much for misdemeanors and fucking jaywalking and speeding tickets, and like nobody goes easy on him. And I feel like a lot of it is Croc and Boba, like and Bison going hard on his own guy, and Croc just being Croc.
Dude, that was really fun RP that we had with Nova. With the thing with his daughter, I was a little worried I was going to get into OC trouble for it, but I was like, fuck it, this is fun RP. If I do, I'll just take it.
Well, no, I think you handled it really well, and I finally had to be the guy to like give him the nod that like, yeah, she's in the other room, right? I don't know if you saw me take my hat and glasses off and like nod at him. That's like, yeah, dude, she's there. Well, I don't know. Moosebeard's been on both sides, right? And his whole thing about like joining the force was family. He wanted to protect the family that he had made. He lost his crew from time travel, right? And he didn't want anybody to lose their family.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of that like becoming more lawful sort of thing, and like protecting those who are closest to you, especially when Moosebeard's daughters just keep dying again and again. It's like he was like, okay, he felt a little bit of compassion there. It's like, all right, I can't not tell you, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm just gonna have like that lock eyes moment. I'm just gonna nod at you and be like, yeah, she's there.
Yeah, dude, I absolutely. I went back and watched the VOD of when I shot Sis. Man, I like shot true. I like those bullets were heat seeking.
Dude, I didn't expect him to shoot, and so I was a little thrown off. And I was like, "Oh shit!
I
I
was
guess I have to
stunlocked,
shoot you now."
Once you said that, I was like, oh right, we have to shoot this guy.
Yeah, I'm glad you hit him. I had a pistol. I think I hit him twice.
Yeah, I hit him 3 times before he got past the guardhouse, and then in between the guardhouse and then like the fulcrum of the bridge, I could only see about 1.5 inches of space, and I fucking hit him like 4 times.
Oh, Mac or Kinky, I channeled you recently. You just reminded me of that, Hydra. I was channeling my inner Kinkyhobo. I had Klaus, one of the PD Toe SBS guys, on the back of my bike, and I was trying to get on top of the PD booth with the bike. And I did it, but then I was like, where else can I get? And I was like, what about on top of MRPD? So I was launching myself like off the rail up on top of MRPD. Dude. I managed to get up, but not on the highest level, not on the like higher helipad area.
It's for everybody, so they
but
know.
I remember specifically thinking that I was like, this is, I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like this is something that like Kinkyhobo would do. It's like it'd take a few tries to try to jump his bike on top of a roof. I remember once you called me and said, I need help. Me and my bike are stuck on the top of a roof.
Dude, that was insane. I remember I was in the middle of a chase. We were in the middle of a chase, and then it was going uphill on like fucking Mad Wayne Thunder or some fucking road like that. I don't know. Up towards like West Eclipse. I just like railed into a fucking car that was coming the other direction. And rather than like getting pinged off, I flew like 50 feet in the air on top of like an apartment building. I was like, help.
Somebody.
What were you going to say, Hydra?
Oh, I was just going to make fun because you were in your stream. You were like, all right, guys, I'm going to get offline. And then for 45 minutes, you and Synth Hunter try to get on the roof of MRPD on your motorcycle.
Yeah.
Dude, it's really nice to see Synth Hunter back on the server.
Yeah, it's nice
He's
to see
in South Korea right now.
Is he really? That's sick.
He's serving. Yeah, he's
Air Force.
In the
Air Force.
He's part of the South Korean military.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Is that who's playing? He's the one playing Klaus?
Yeah, the guy that used to play like Wingman. Yeah, Santana.
His other character, Lucas Fenry, just got fucking fired from PD Toe as well. I saw that. No PD Toe chat.
Oh, is that him?
For offering to give a criminal back his car.
Did they find out OC or?
I don't know.
I feel like PD Toe, like you have a high chance of getting fired from PD Toe than you have PD sometimes.
It's just easy to fire you, so.
Well, it's something I've made abundantly clear with like a lot of the people there is like, I'm going to discipline you. I'm going to tell you what you guys can and can't do. However, I was one of you guys back when it was a lot worse. And I do not want you guys to hate what you do. I want you guys to have a good time. I want you to enjoy it because this is not an enjoyable thing to do. What you're doing, you don't get paid. It's all RP. It's like what you make of it is what it is. And I want you to enjoy yourself. Right. So I'm like, I'm being hard, but not hard, right? Like I want everyone to have professionalism, but still have fun. And I think that's going to be like the best way to kind of control it, at least in shift 2.
I don't
or
remember,
like early shift 1, shift 2.
I don't remember who it was last night with the PD Toe, but after the Dewey Dangle shooting situation, they were like really shitting on PD Toe for wearing the masks for their costumes that they were wearing. And I was like mid like bleeding out. I was like 25 with me at Viceroy, like 25 with me. The guy was yelling at him. And after I got up, I was like, you don't discipline them. You tell somebody at PD Toe and we discipline them. It's okay to tell them to take their mask off. You don't get to yell at them like that. Like you don't get to. Like you talk to us and we will yell at them. Okay.
Dude, like, we earn that.
We told them to wear them. We okayed it. If it's a problem, talk to us or talk to somebody else in command and they'll deal with it. You don't get to fucking yell at them.
They still had their full uniforms on. Like they were, you know,
and so we made
it was
the
a funny bit
that they wouldn't
too.
wear face masks anymore. Though as long as their face is visible, then it's okay.
Taekwondo is what they called themselves.
Funny, dude.
And they were offering their bodies up. They were offering their bodies up to tackle people for us. They're like, take us with you. We'll tackle people for you guys. Taekwondo, we got this. Yeah, I loved it. I was like, I went and I got $10,000 and I said, split this amongst yourselves. This is your budget for Taekwondo.
Did you give them 10K as well? Oh, those motherfuckers.
I give them 10K and then split them up. I said, there's 4 of you, split this up amongst yourselves, 2,500 each. Just like, you guys don't make any money anyway. I just want to give you guys a little bit of a budget for this.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, that's sick.
Yeah, that was good. I was proud of PD Toe at that moment. So
Mr. Hobo, anything you'd like to bring up, talk about? Anything you want to ask the boys? Anything you want to talk about on the server?
I think with like both you and like 52, I think like it's slightly different for Troms. Like, where do you guys actually want to go with like within the P? Because I know like 52, you said earlier, you don't give a fuck whether you're full officer like in a week or like in like 3 months. But, like, once you make it, what do you guys actually want to do within like the PD direction wise?
Do you want to go first, 50?
Power and influence. I don't care about rank, so long as I can tell people what to do and they get mad. The 4 days I was assistant chief. Oh my god, I could feel the resentment from everyone. It was palpable. It was amazing. Telling them to 25 in the same office they threatened to fire me in.
Oh, hell
It
yeah.
was. And then Tinker too in there. Tinker, getting his things in. Who was it? It was Martel.
That's so
who's
good.
But I'll be honest. Right now, I'm just coasting, waiting for 4.0 to drop. When 4.0 drops, then I'm gonna have ambitions.
Okay.
For now,
that's
though,
cool.
now though, I'm not getting too invested in anything.
Yeah, so I think my first big goal is I want to cement myself as a trusted person in the MRPD to the other officers, so that when 4.0 comes along, I don't have to play the waiting game again, right? Because I want to make sure people go like, of course Hydra's coming, right? Like that's the main thing. That's like my number one thing. The second thing that I want is I want to be part of like training. I want to be an FTO. I want to help new people. I want to show them that being a cop is super fun. And I also want to like teach them. I understand like I have a really, really bad memory. I want to teach them that like rote memorization isn't the only way to be a good cop. I really enjoy riding with people and teaching new people things. It's like brings me a lot of joy. So I want to do that. I would FTO somebody every day, basically, for 4 hours or something. And then the last thing, and I really, really, really want this. I'll do 2 more. The other things I want to be known as the guy that Crims maybe hate a little bit, but also respect because I consistently behave like, hey, I'm taking your class 2 and I'm taking you to jail and I'm taking your shit and I'm raiding you if you have enough stuff to raid you, but I'm doing it because you broke the law in a dumb way and you're getting punished for it, right? But that doesn't mean that we hate each other. I'm just doing my job. Like because of Stanky Leg, right? I've got connections to the Mandem, and so they will often make like, oh, you only have 1 ear jokes on John Hydra, and I'll be like, yeah, and you only have 1 brain cell, stuff like that. It's funny. So I called them and I was like, hey, just so you guys know, I'm going fucking hard if I see you, and I just want you guys to know it's not personal. And they're like, that sounds great. We actually really like this idea. And I was like, cool. And then the last thing is I want a fucking horse. Kyle has already said, if I get a horse, I can start the mounted unit. And I want a horse so bad. I just want to be a mounted cop. I think it's so sick. It's like the perfect John Hydra evolution, right? I think it's so sick.
God.
I would really love
fucking Mountie arc would be so fucking hilarious.
Wouldn't
to see
it?
who got it on that.
We already
as soon as it starts, everybody would want in on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You'd have a dozen horses on your team.
Yep. We already said we're gonna have the 4 horses of the apocalypse. It's gonna be Kyle, Brian Knight, John Hydra, and Gunner.
No, I was thinking Turo, Jimbo, you, just the aesthetic, man. The aesthetic.
That is
It'd be
true.
so cool. Either or works, I guess.
Yeah.
Cassidy would be another good choice. Like the guys with they got a little bit of that draw. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got some twang.
What's his name? That's been back recently.
Tribble.
Tribble.
And,
yeah.
Fuck. Who's his partner that's always hanging out with him? They literally only
Frank?
double up.
Knight or no, Cross.
No. But he's been hanging out with Tribble a lot.
LSPD Cowboy Head. I forgot what his name was.
McCormick?
McCormick. That's it.
McCormick.
Yeah, McCormick be another good choice for that.
Dude, the fight, the Littleman versus the PD fight, that was really good.
That was Tribble and McCormick's first taste of the Littlemans, and I'm surprised that they let us go, because I even said to Miles, I was like, "Wow, if I were a cop, I think I would have, I definitely would have still arrested us. Like, yeah, I would have had this fun, but I think I still would have arrested us."
Yeah, I did. They end up arresting the one guy I told them to arrest. The one little
I don't
man,
think
one
they
of the
arrested
gray shirts,
anybody.
yeah.
No, I think everybody got to go. It was
Tribble,
great.
when we were on the bridge, Tribble was like, "These little fuckers want to be arrested," and I was like, "Yeah, I think they do. I think they get off on it." And he's like, "Well, then we're not giving it to them."
Oh, okay. It was just good because it was like, I think everybody there at that situation knew what it was.
Yeah.
It was not serious. I mean, there was even a point where I got out and I started shooting at our own tires with my gun.
Yeah, I saw that.
Like, shot all of our own tires out. Nobody said, "Oh my god, he's shooting, like, let's fucking open fire on him." Like, I risked it there for a second, and
Yeah.
everybody still just went with it.
I
Like,
told
they
Tribble
knew I had
we
a
should-
gun.
I told Tribble we should shoot the rims out. He was like, "That's a good idea."
Oh, it was great.
but yeah,
that
those
was,
are
that
my
was just a
goals.
good situation.
Yeah.
You guys mentioned in like both your answers about 4.0. Is that like something that I've like fucking missed entirely? Is 4.0
There was
soon?
a small announcement about it. There was like, "Oh, we're working on 4.0. We're teaming up with the guys from NVE, like the Natural Vision Evolved guys, to bring you 4.0. We've got hardcore server in the works." And I think there was one other thing they mentioned, Red Dead. I think was the other thing, Nopixel Red Dead.
Which I don't think we'll be able to compete with Wild RP, but I think it will be nice to be able to SBS in Red Dead, because I really want to treat Wild RP like a serious RP server, and then it'd be nice to goof off in the Nopixel Red Dead server.
Well, we'll just see how they handle it. I think I actually want to try hardcore.
Yeah, me too.
I do hardcore. Yeah, I think if I went to hardcore, I'd probably just be far more comfortable with this shit in there, and then I'd be more comfortable playing Crim as well, because like I really love the consequence kind of RP of just getting fucked over so much.
That's one thing I had to get used to on my cup. Reading the room, like when people are doing SBS, that when people in that SBS state of mind, they don't expect you to go hard in them, and when you do, it gets weird.
Yeah,
it gets tough.
you gotta give them warning. Like, listen, like, we're all having fun, but if you keep this X up, like, it's gonna turn bad fast. And then okay.
Because of the character I play, I can't put it like that.
Yeah, nobody would believe you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's why I end up like being the fucking bad guy like half the time, which I'm fine with, because it's just like whatever. But it's like half the time when there's loads of fun going on, but it's also kind of getting to the point of this is gonna actually get really illegal. You have to be like, okay, guys, I'm here to ruin the party now. Yeah. I remember one time I was SPSing with fucking Spaceboy and Banana Duck while they were on Holden and Randall. And I was just, at one point, I literally, I almost like broke character, and I was pleading with them, going like, "It's getting a little too wacky now, guys. Please let's stop," because we'd all gone down like 5 times in the space of like a minute. Fuck.
Do you have any plans, like hardcore 4.0 YouTube that haven't?
What are your plans, Hobo?
Yeah. What you got?
What do you want?
What you got?
I'd absolutely. I'd do PD again, but I'd fucking. I think I'd probably completely dip out of like the less hardcore RP server, just because it just fits in so much better to do the serious stuff all the time. Like I don't care about like investigations and stuff. I'm kind of like a ping chaser, but at least I like doing like the serious, this is the job, this is what we're going for kind of thing. And in there, I think the PD would hopefully get a little bit more leeway when it came to being like corrupt. So then I would eventually, after everyone's settled in and gotten like a foothold, I'd maybe start doing like more corrupt shit in there. And like actually expect consequence from it as well.
That'd be really good.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Well, fuck yeah. Kinks, thanks for coming on, man. It was really nice to have you. Sorry it took us so long to get you on. I hadn't seen you on the server in a while, so I'm very like, if I don't see you, I don't think about you. I'm bad like that.
But no, it's nice to be up. My sleep's fucked. So we're in like completely different time zones. I'm waking up at like 1 a.m. But it is just nice to come on. It's nice to like talk to you
Yeah,
guys.
man.
I really appreciate you, and I love riding with you. I think we vibe so well, like in and out of character. I just think like I appreciate you, man. That's all I want to say. I love you.
Oh.
I think there was and I was gonna bring this up a little earlier, but I didn't want to say like names or a situation or anything like that. But there was a situation where you handled somebody that had dealt with the Littlemans, and they were having a slightly difficult time dealing with what was maybe going to be not good consequences for them.
Mhm.
And I remember how well you handled it, and just like it was done so well that it really showed me like how good of a guy you are, right? And like how much you actually care. And I appreciate that a lot. It wasn't me who you were dealing with, but just the way that you
yeah.
handled them. Yeah, I know you know who I'm talking about, but
Yeah.
we don't need to say that.
Yeah, I love you, dude. Like,
I love you
I'm
too, man.
a huge cunt in RP, and I pride myself on being a dick to people. But in reality, as soon as I like realized that some people aren't reading the facade, I'm just like, okay, I've got to be a human being and nice to people. So, yeah,
This guy's a human idiot.
real stupid,
Real human. Come on.
That's too funny.
Shit.
I appreciate you guys, though. Thank you.
Yeah, man.
This is a really good episode.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, dude. We'll get you on again. We're gonna cycle back through and see where people are in a couple months, and it'll be really good. We're only doing one episode a week now, but viewership's like very slowly going up. It's really nice to see people watching it. I get messages every day going, "Hey, dude, I listen to every episode of the podcast. I really love it."
That's
So
wild to me. That's
Yeah.
a lot of hours to go through.
yeah, I mean, people drive to work. They have long drives, or they're just chilling, vibing from work from home, and they want to listen to a long podcast. And so, if you guys listen, if you're still listening, dude, really appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening so much. You guys, we do this because it's fun for us, but the fact that you guys listen and like it so much really makes it all that much more rewarding. So, thank you. Really appreciate you, Kinky. Thank you, boys. Thank you so much.
Kinky, you got anything to shout out before we end the stream? Socials, your stream, anything like that? Charity, anything you want to shout out?
You can catch me on pretty much like everything that just is Kinkyhobo. As far as charities go, I have like 2 charities. It's just like one is like anything like dementia or like Alzheimer's related, and then the second one is Goats of Anarchy, which is like a charity towards like rehabilitating and like disabled animals.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a really good one. Yeah, well, I've got a small stipend. I do like $100 a month to charities. I always mix it up and put it in for charity. So I'll check that one out, man.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for having. Appreciate you. Yes, Pixel.
Thank you.
Episode 12.